There are no troops involved, but more agents.
That surge is part of the ICE-led Operation Midway Blitz that they say is in honor of a beautiful young Chicago woman, Katie Abraham, who was killed by an illegal alien drunk driver back in January of this year. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says that this blitz won't make Chicagoans safer.
Fox's Griff Jenkins in Chicago. The Supreme Court has given ICE a green light to resume an immigration crackdown in Los Angeles.
So it was a Biden-appointed judge in July issued a restraining order stopping ICE from stopping individuals with just reasonable suspicion that they're in the U.S. illegally. It barred officials from relying on certain factors like race. Well, the Ninth Circuit upheld that ruling, prompting the administration to go to the Supreme Court, arguing that the ruling restricted ICE's ability to enforce the law that says you can't cross the border illegally.
That's Fox's William Lawson, SNLA. America's listening to...
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. I sound like I'm like a bear.
I am here for you.
Screaming for a really, really long time.
Because last week you saved my butt quite a bit when I felt like the poo. And I asked you this morning, and you're like, I'm a little bit better, but I still feel like the boo.
Yeah, I do. I feel rough. But
you think part of this has to do, as I'm speculating here, but that's never stopped me before, this radio program.
I don't know why I would today.
But perhaps you pushed yourself so hard and had so much fun over the weekend that it made it easier to catch that little end of summer cold.
Yes, I do. I've actually absolutely thought about that. 100%.
Because normally you are healthy horse guy.
Yeah,
like
man.
You never bring stuff in here.
No, I typically don't. But whatever this is I mean, I sound like I sound crazy.
Eagle Rare Fever.
Yeah, or something. Eagle Rare Fever. I like it. But yeah, I don't have any idea. And the crazy, I do feel slightly better, but I certainly don't sound better. I sound worse than I did yesterday, but I feel the slightest bit better.
That has to be that it's draining out of your system.
I guess.
So you're sleeping at night. It's draining through your throat.
Dude, I went home yesterday because I left the instant the show was over, and I went home and I made it home by 11 or whatever, grabbed something to eat, popped some medicine, and dude, I slept till like 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just out. I woke up and I was like, where am I?
I think that was maybe like Wednesday or so for me, where I got done with the show, I laid down, and the next thing I knew it was like 5:30 in the afternoon.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah. It's like time evaporates.
I was like, what? Because normally it's not a big deal to sleep 30 to 90 minutes. Like, sure. I'm dragging a little bit, 30 or 90 minutes. I'm good to go work out, get the day going, go pick up the kids. I slept for like 5-6 hours, just hard.
Yeah, that's when your body's trying to heal itself. And I assume that's what's going on here.
I'm like, I'm with you. I think we can speak for the whole radio program. We're all in this fight together with Tug. We're all in the fight.
You pick me up.
I'm not saying we're going to shave our heads or anything.
Well, you don't need to do that. No, there's
solidarity with Tug
There's
and Los.
no request to do that by any means. Braves got a win yesterday.
Yeah, got a 4-1 win over Chicago.
Didn't expect that after losing that.
It's nice after 18-2 on Sunday.
Good Lord. What a good bounce back, man. And then
Monday Night Football, did you partake at all?
Dude, I was out again.
You needed to be.
My sweet wife made chicken noodle soup, which, makes you feel better. And so I did, and then right back to bed.
If you missed it, which I'm going to guess that because of the hours these games keep going to, like if you missed Buffalo and Baltimore on Sunday night, I get it. That's like near midnight. Last night, somewhere right around 11 o'clock, the dead-in-the-water Minnesota Vikings suddenly came alive. J.J. McCarthy, their second-year starter, looked like, oh, my God, this guy hasn't looked like he could play all night. And suddenly he's on fire. He is the first quarterback in NFL history to score 10-plus points, to have a come from behind victory on the road.
Wow, in NFL history?
In the fourth quarter, in his debut.
Jeez.
The last guy to do it was in 1985. I saw the note with Steve Young.
Okay.
So J.J. McCarthy suddenly picks up the Minnesota Vikings from the dead. And that's another win for Daddy and Prize Picks last night. So thank you, J.J. McCarthy.
How much you putting in your wallet?
That was another $85.
There you go. And so what is the
what I need? Okay,
is it like a $20 bet?
Yeah, and so what I was playing was I needed Caleb Williams, the quarterback of the Bears, to throw for. They had a low number for him. It was like the gimme. It was like 185. It's like I think he'll do that. He did like 190. But then I needed a field goal from the Bears kicker, which he barely got, and he missed the other one too. By the way,
he
barely got it. I needed a touchdown pass from J.J. McCarthy, which I didn't get until the fourth quarter. And I needed rushing yards from Caleb Williams, and that was not a problem. So by the time that all hit, I was like, we're good. I got a pair of shoes I want to order. They're like $30, nothing crazy.
These for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're purple. They fit North Forsyth.
I see what you mean.
And I don't have a pair of purple shoes. That just seems like the thing I need to do now.
Yeah, it does.
As a celebration.
For sure. I love
Or that Sonos speaker.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
That's right. Absolutely. Dude, that's the best. My wife was just looking for shoes to match Jacob's college team, and she couldn't find exactly what she wanted. And I had pointed out the Tree Torn brand. Do you remember Tree Torns? It's an old school brand of shoes that are trying to make a comeback, and it seems like they're doing an okay job because I see them popping up everywhere. Used to love them as a kid, and now they're coming. So I showed them to her, and she kind of remembered, but it wasn't exactly what she wanted. But then she couldn't find what she wanted, so she ended up settling on them. So she's doing the exact same thing.
I'm going to admit it is very ladylike of me to do this.
That's not the reason I pointed that out.
But it is true though.
Maybe
I don't argue with this. I was having this discussion over the weekend. We were over. I'm trying to remember what restaurant we had gotten into with my in-laws, and I joked around because when I ordered a drink, the waitress kind of gave me this look of like, you really want salt on the rim? And I was like, yes.
Yeah,
don't
please.
I look like a proper lady?
Bring it, ma'am.
Yes.
And stop with your judgment.
That's right. I was like, I indulge in this.
Off with you.
Yes.
Like the Phillies ball. The guy after he handed it off with you.
That's right. I feel like about 90% of the stuff I do is pretty manly. Like my father-in-law and I are planning on starting to do the framing job.
Yeah, that's definitely manly.
Thank you to a handful of people that have all suggested some different stuff. So I'm going to get started on that, this week. We're going to try and hopefully get it all done. That's manly. When I'm done in the evening, I will be like, do you have a drink that looks pink?
Yes, right. I'll have two.
And there's that 10% where you go,
Yeah, sounds right.
Judging you strongly, sir.
Not at all. You shouldn't be judged for enjoying a nice sweet drink.
Like you would think I would have like a 6-pack of beer, and it's like, this is what I get after a hard day's work. I'm like, give me the nice little cocktail.
Right. Yeah, and put it in a martini glass.
That's right,
ma'am. I'm the same way because I don't like beer at all.
So yeah, I'm gonna find those purple shoes.
Dude, I love it. I think it's great. It doesn't bother me in the least. I used to have when my son was playing travel baseball. Their team colors were orange and purple, like the Clemson colors. And I had a bright orange pair of shoes that I would wear. So I did the exact same thing. No judgment here, man. I've done it.
This year, because we were pushing, we were going to nationals. The whole goal when you go to nationals in volleyball, and for those of parents who have ever been part of this stuff, it's gold bracket final day. Like that's all you want to do. Stay in gold bracket. Sure. And that when you're playing a local tournament or you're playing some of the stuff, okay, gold bracket. Man, when you get down to where it's like 30 best teams in the country, if you can get down like to the last 8.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Now that's the goal.
It's so much fun.
So I did have a gold jacket that I would bust out. And in fact, when we solidified our win at Nationals in Dallas to make it to the final day of gold bracket, the gold jacket came out.
Gold jacket, green jacket.
And it came out in Orlando when we solidified our push to the gold bracket there. And both times, all the parents went ape-s.
No,
like they thought it was like the coolest thing around.
Is it like the old school satin finish?
It is so bright.
That's great.
Yes.
Like Ric Flair would wear in the WWF.
It looks ridiculously golden yellow.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, anybody that doesn't support that just clearly does not love their children.
It's a fun time, man.
It is. It's supposed to be.
Fun time.
And I bet the kids loved it. That's the most important.
Well, all right, the 11-year-olds or the 10-year-olds at the time, yes. And their parents, yes. The parents of our 14s team, yes. Everyone but my daughter, yes.
Okay.
she's like,
right.
my dad's insane.
Yeah, right.
Like, yes, he is.
But let me tell you, those are going to be the best memories when years from now.
I hope she looks back on it and she's like, he had fun with this stuff.
Years from now, she's going to be like, my dad led the charge.
He partook.
Every time. He was always there for me. And there's nothing more important than that for kids, dude. You're doing the right thing. I love it. I think it's the best.
The last time I came on the air and was unable to talk was about 2 years ago after a nationals tournament where I got home and the next morning I had to call in. I think, in fact, it was a few years ago. It was before I was here in the morning. I had to call in to work to tell them that I couldn't do afternoon drive because I could not speak.
Yeah, I can't speak. No, I get it. I had no idea it was going to be this bad until...
Well, you're fighting through it.
Yeah, I know, but...
You're doing good.
I had no idea it was going to be this bad. I mean, I knew it was going to be shaky, but...
I had a cough drop or something for you, right?
Yeah, I may have to come.
There's some bottle of bourbon if we
I had to
raid the sales closet.
I'm afraid that'd be the problem. That'd make it worse.
I got into the throat coat last week.
Yeah,
like that's a big deal
on my
having
desk.
a throat coat.
So I'll probably get some of that here in just a little bit because I do have some of that on my desk, which is good. But so this Charlotte murder thing has finally hit mainstream media. The reason the leftist media doesn't want to talk about it is because it doesn't match up their white supremacy narrative. You know, that America's racist in this horrible place, and it goes obviously in direct opposition to that. So they're going to bury it, and really did, because it happened on the 22nd of August. We're on September 9th.
This is part of the problem that we have in this country. We did not have any coverage of this. We got into it yesterday, and then we're asking, why has there not been more coverage? Why has this been buried in the way that it did? Because the story was largely a murder on public transit, and that's not unusual. Like, unless we're in New York City and somebody is burned to death on public transit.
God.
Or, I don't know, a white guy chokes out a black guy having a manic episode. Well, then we never hear about any of this stuff. And so having a career criminal murder somebody on public transit, not a huge story. It's not until you see the film. And then the mainstream media, until Axios got involved in it yesterday, was basically, there's nothing to see here. And then it turned into, OS. Now everybody knows about it. They're complaining about it on social media. Well, let's just call them racist for doing it. Maybe that'll make it go away.
And then Axios specifically started saying, well, it's because of the video. The video is the problem because you were able to see how
the
this
video's
is
the story,
right? But they had a problem with it because you can see what actually happens and you can see it doesn't match their narrative.
No, because in a scenario where you hear there's a death on public transit, in your mind you're thinking, well, what would I do if somebody attacked me? Well, we're gonna brawl it out. It's gonna be like a John Wick movie, and the knife just happened to stab me, and that's how I passed. No, it's a brutal attack.
Dude, girls sitting there just
minding your own business. Stay off your phones.
Yes, dude,
know you're around.
That is the biggest.
What is it I tell my daughters? I say on this show all the time. If you got to be on your phone, do it in the car, and then get out of the car, stick it in your pocket. Do not jump on it. Do not, when you go into the store, stay off your phone. When you come out of the store, stay off your phone.
Head on a swivel.
And there is nothing wrong with having prejudice over a situation, which is I'm sitting on public transit looking around to see, does anyone look a little bit like they're having an episode, and why is my back towards them?
And this guy had obviously he's had so many arrests and all that other stuff. And his family even, we learned yesterday, or at least I learned yesterday, his family had asked for him to be confined, to be locked up because of his mental instability, because of the episodes that he was having. And what did the judge do? The exact opposite. Did the exact opposite of what what the family who actually cares about the man wanted.
His family had talked about that he was trying to explain to officials that he had a man-made chemical, a man-made device put into him that was causing him problems. Which that automatically is like, okay, clearly you're having episodes.
Yes, right?
It's schizophrenia. It's almost a textbook case of you've now created these demons in your mind, and they're the ones that are controlling you.
Yeah.
And so, but I guess the bigger picture is that the media has basically been caught.
Again.
Yes. With, oh my God, they're going to talk about this story. So now we have to talk about the story. Well, let's just call it racist so that it'll make it go away. But it's a bigger picture deal. It is dangerous out there. Your American cities are dangerous. And so this is the backlash to Donald Trump going into D.C. and basically saying, we're going to take our National Guard and we're going to make this the safest major city in America for this time being. And it caused a commotion of, oh my God, we can't have people actually know what kind of crime is going on in our areas, because crime ends up destabilizing your faith in society.
Of course.
And that's what they're all about.
Yeah. No, I'm to the point now where, I mean, I'm like you with the kids. Dude, I put my phone away. I've got to where, and I've always done this to a degree, but like when we go to dinner somewhere, I want to be able to see the door.
Yeah.
Like I'll even tell my wife, you know what, I want to sit on this side. And she's always like, why? And I was like, I want to be able to see the door.
Yeah.
And she started to get it now. And all you have to do is point to all these different scenarios as to why that makes sense. But you got to be prepared. And if you're on your phone, you're not prepared. And if your back is to the door, you're not prepared.
When I was in my 20s, so I'm living like just right outside Buckhead. Like we were right next to the Lindbergh MARTA station. And girlfriend at the time, wife now. We used to think how cool it was. We would hop on MARTA and head on over to go see a Hawks game.
Yeah, that's cool.
Go over to Little 5 Points and all the stuff we would do. And it's jumping on public transit. Because of what it has become in our American cities, I don't dive on shipwrecks. I don't jump out of airplanes. I don't ride MARTA.
Yeah. No,
all right, now,
makes sense.
Does that all sound like a bad idea? No, because I am pointing out that if you jump out of an airplane, there's a greater than zero chance that the parachute doesn't open, okay?
Exactly right.
If I'm diving on shipwrecks, there's a greater than zero chance that maybe I run out of oxygen, something happens.
Or it implodes.
I mean, I don't go to the Titanic either. And if you put me in a scenario where I'm around a lot of people that are lower income, there's a greater than zero chance that something's going to happen.
And they've not had any sort of medical, mental health awareness, stability. Anybody cares, judges that should do something that don't. And we'll get into it later because you have a great angle and a great story about the judge actually turning a profit on the man that got out that ultimately made this.
Oh, it's two-pronged.
It's incredible.
It's profitable on a multitude of ends.
Unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And the other thing, Los, that I think gets looked over a little bit is all of these DAs that talk about, restorative justice and these crazy leftist woke language for basically we're not going to incarcerate people for the crimes they commit, have all been backed by George Soros. I read a stat last night that said 1 in every 5 Americans live under a DA that believes and functions the way that they do in Charlotte, North Carolina. Makes me wonder about the DA here in Atlanta.
It destabilizes not just your belief in the criminal justice system and in legality, but it destabilizes your soul in that you go, this is all I'm entitled to? I'm entitled to live in a place where a crazy person can wander the streets and murder a 23-year-old woman who he'd never met, never was around, just out of nowhere.
Yeah, we have to tailor our life to him.
Yeah. That's insane. I have to be around a society where I know this person is crazy and yet
everybody knows
they're trans and they shoot up a school and I have to go like, okay, that's just how it is.
Yeah,
like
just accept it.
That is part of what goes on with these district attorneys and it's not an issue where you're like, oh, hey, they're being easy on criminals. No, they want these problems in your streets.
They love the destabilization because then it upends Western society, American values. You see where the road leads. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we continue, understand how the FDA really works. Next in Storytime on Extra.
Your favorite Extra shows are streaming live video from the studio on Extra 106.3's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Extra YouTube channel and get the Morning Extra and the Kimmer Show in live digital video.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly Magazine, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, community businesses, and events, like the Superior Plumbing Presents North Georgia State Fair.
Hi, I'm Missy with the Superior Plumbing Presents North Georgia State Fair at Jim R. Miller Park, September 18th through the 28th. Enjoy the fun, the food, and amazing entertainment, including the Carriage Kia Grandstand Series. We're bringing back advanced pay one price ride tickets, plus free parking this year. Save money and enjoy a smoother experience. Visit NorthGeorgiaStateFair.com for daily deals and discover why we were voted Best Festival and Family Amusement 7 years in a row. That's NorthGeorgiaStateFair.com.
Friends, I'm getting my tickets. Are you? The North Georgia State Fair is more than an event. It's a tradition. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Veterans across Braves country are returning to our communities and need a trusted resource to navigate life beyond military service. The Warrior Alliance is expanding our impact and needs your support to change thousands of lives for the better. This is Kelly Kroll, and I'm inviting you to join us for an exciting benefit dinner, followed by an Atlanta Braves private event on Friday, September 12th to support veterans and their families. Special guests include powerful veteran testimonies and 5-time All-Star Andrew Jones. Tickets are on sale now at thewarrioralliance.org.
Quiet down, here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Take a pause.
Working Dogs for Conservation takes rescue dogs and trains them to be conservation canines.
They open a lot of doors for conservation and do really important work all over the world.
The nonprofit's Pete Copalillo says they've got 90 dogs with remarkable noses.
Stopping poachers in Africa, ending trafficking so people can't smuggle rhino horn. And we do a lot of what we call biosecurity work here in North America, stopping the spread of invasive weeds or insects.
2 of their dogs, Quinn and Yagi, managed to track down droppings in Indonesia, possibly left by one of the most endangered animals in the world, a Sumatran rhino. There are only about 3 dozen of these rhinos left, and the noses of Yagi and Quinn managed to find a clue to the creature despite the foreign environment.
The moist air, the scents, the smell, everything. So it must have been being on another planet. But both Yagi and Quinn are super focused. They love doing their jobs.
Take pause. Joel Nato, Fox News.
Fox Rocks.
I'm Monica DeLuca. Aerosmith's Steven Tyler and British singer Young Blood performed a tribute to the late Ozzy Osbourne at the VMAs. Sound courtesy of MTV and CBS. The Black Sabbath singer died at age 76 on July 22nd. The biggest winner at the MTV Video Music Awards, Lady Gaga led with an impressive 12 nominations going into the night, taking home the first award at Long Island's UBS Arena in New York for Artist of the Year. While Ariana Grande She took home the last Moon Man trophy of the night for Music Video of the Year for the 26-minute-long Brighter Days Ahead. The MTV Video Music Awards were hosted by LL Cool J. That's Fox Rocks on Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Tuesday, September 9th. A suspected high-ranking cartel member was detained in Atlanta after being extradited from Mexico to face federal charges. Roberto Lopez, also known as Shrek, is an alleged lieutenant in the Sinaloa cartel and was hiding out in Mexico for the past 10 years. He's accused of smuggling tons of cocaine and hundreds of guns across the border to Atlanta and Memphis. He faces life in prison. Cobb County police have identified a victim in a cold case dating back to 1984. Her body remained unidentified for decades after it was found near the Chattahoochee River. Recent advanced DNA testing led the police to identify the victim as Jane Miller of Mableton. She would have been 61 years old. The case is still under active investigation. And police are searching for teens in East Cobb after a fight at Waffle House broke out Saturday night. Staff said the teens were asked to leave several times, and a video of the fight that went viral on social media showed the teens jumping over the counter and fighting employees at the location on Sandy Springs Road just after 2 a.m. Detectives are working to identify all involved. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
I gave you a heads up to make sure you got your notepads, make sure you got your pencil and paper to take notes, or at worst, open up your notes on your phone and then just type it all out as we do story time.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
No, thank you to everyone, and story time is brought to you by Tug.
Yes.
As of right now.
Yeah, but
now it's for sale.
Yes, I'm just like the placeholder. You can have it for your business, like right this second.
That's right. If you happen to do basement framing, story time is available for you.
That's right.
Just plugging all sorts of stuff these days, right?
Whatever it takes.
All right, so I really enjoyed doing this over the weekend. Got me going and started digging into all sorts of this story. So one of the most important aspects of what happened last Thursday, we talked about that was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. versus Big Pharma. And to much of the chagrin of the rest of the Senate, not just the Democrats, but also the Republicans as well.
Yeah.
Mostly Democrats, though, had gotten a lot of money when it came to Big Pharma. One of the things that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. brought up was the process by which new drugs and vaccines receive approval in these United States. Now, traditionally, Big Pharma, here's how it works. They develop a drug, a treatment, a vaccine, and I don't know how many people will know about this. They submit their research to the FDA for approval. They basically say, here's all the work we did on it. Take a look at it. And of course, the faster the approval, the faster the marketplace, the faster you recover your money, your development money. And let's point this out for those people that don't know. The FDA doesn't have the money nor the resources to do this work. So they are basically a check on what is being paid for by Big Pharma. So, for instance, like it can take years. The FDA can come back to you and basically bring up questions. These are what is known as the guardrails that help protect the American public. So if pharma, let's say just a big pharma company, ends up saying, hey, this has limited side effects for the year that we tested it, the FDA can always say, well, a year's not long enough. You need to go back and do more research. We need a bigger, longer window. This can go on for years and years and years. And you can even have the FDA say, well, did you test this on pregnant women? Well, no, we didn't have any pregnant women. Okay, we'll go back. And this is what happens. Now, this is what the difference was when it came to Operation Warp Speed. The guardrails that exist with the FDA were removed. All of those checks that typically happen that, hey, have you checked on this amount of people? How long was the window? Those were all removed during Operation Warp Speed. That was the big thing that happened that caused something to get to market that now that we're saying like, hey, pericarditis, myocarditis, what's up with these cancers? They only looked at it for a limited amount of a window. But again, that's like kind of a sidebar to all this stuff. So that was a giant screw up. But I want to take you back. There was a man born in 1949 who decided to go into public health. All right, we're starting story time. Okay, ready? Now, this man, he had a bachelor's degree, He had a medical degree, and he had a master's in public health. He went into the Navy, Tug.
God bless him.
And he served as a medical officer. And then when he was done with his naval service and his service for the country, he decided, I'm going to continue serving the country. In 1989, this man went to work for the FDA. And one of his specialties was, because of his background, was understanding compounds. Now, he was put in charge of addiction drugs and overseeing them. If it was prescription oriented and there might be a possibility of addiction, this is what this man studied. This man was Dr. Curtis Wright. Now, Dr. Curtis Wright, that's not a name that you're typically going to go like, oh, Curtis Wright. Not a problem. I know exactly who that is.
I was like, who's Curtis? I know my cousin Curtis.
Okay, well, different Curtis. This Dr. Curtis Wright, I don't think would steal your rims.
My cousin Curtis will.
But I don't know how giving he was like cousin Curtis. So let me introduce something else. There was a company named Purdue Pharma who decided their future was going to be dealing with long-term pain, chronic pain, back injuries, all sorts of problems. They were going to be the ones to deal out the medication that you could deal with that. And when Purdue Pharma submitted all their research to the FDA for approval, remember, we went through the guardrails, they had a new product called OxyContin. And Dr. Curtis Wright held concerns. He kept it off the market. He raised concerns that they had a limited scope of their study. That they, hey, did you look into whether people get addicted to this? Purdue Pharma didn't have an answer. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to do some more research. And everywhere along the lines, Curtis Wright kept rejecting the FDA. We're not going to let this thing get through. So here's the crazy part about all that. Purdue Pharma claimed, quote, that their product had delayed absorption as provided by the OxyContin tablets. It's believed to reduce the abuse liability of the drug. Now, according to court records, Dr. Curtis Wright met with Purdue Pharma on a multitude of occasions. What happened in those meetings? Nobody knows, because Dr. Curtis Wright claimed that none of them were personal in nature. He did that in a deposition back in 2018. I never had a personal relationship with them. Okay, but they keep going to you and trying to get approval from the FDA. In 1995, after a multitude of rejections, Purdue Pharma and OxyContin gained authorization to the market via Dr. Curtis Wright. Signed off on it.
I feel like there's money attached.
18 months later, in 1997, Dr. Curtis Wright went to work for Purdue Pharma.
Of course.
His first-year compensation package at Purdue was reportedly $379,000 to $400,000, roughly 3 times what he made at the FDA. This launched the opioid crisis of the mid-'90s. It went on for about a decade. It killed 100,000 Americans and caused 800,000 to overdose. So in a 2017 Esquire interview, Dr. Curtis Wright maintained that his approval was based on prevailing medical consensus that extended-release formulations were safer. He denied direct contact with Purdue during his FDA tenure and claimed his hiring at Purdue was unrelated and was initiated by a recruiter. However, Purdue records contradict his claim of no private meetings, and the timing of his lucrative job offer leads to speculation of impropriety. So, big closing topic here. When RFK Jr. told you about how the process works, saying how the FDA has not been taking care of the American public for the better part of 30 or 40 years.
All the research done by the actual pharmaceutical companies.
They had the ability to stop 100,000 deaths and 800,000 overdoses, and more than likely millions of families that were impacted by the opioid crisis. And yet, the one bureaucrat that was the only one of them eventually succumbed to it, allowed it, and then took a job with Big Pharma. Now, how does this all end? Dr. Wright was never indicted. In 2007, Purdue Pharma was hit with a $655 million fine for OxyContin. The executives, they got misdemeanors. In 2020, Purdue Pharma was hit with an additional $8.3 billion in fines and penalties for their actions. Now, this caused them to have to liquidate the company. So keep in mind, $8.3 billion is what we're talking about at this point. In 2025, this year, Purdue Pharma, dissolved now, the Sackler family, who owned the company, had to pay an additional $7.5 billion over 15 years to settle family lawsuits. So $8.3 billion out of the company, $7.5 out of the family. Tug, they made $35 billion off OxyContin.
Yeah. So this was just the basically the cost of doing business. That's all it was. That's all that money was.
And Dr. Wright was never charged.
Yeah, of course, because there's two justice systems.
So when RFK Jr. tells you about how it's on you, it's your personal responsibility, and that these institutions have failed regular everyday Americans, that's what he's talking about. He flat out told you the way this system is set up, it's so big pharma can get their drugs to market. They get rubber stamped by the FDA, and then come what may, whatever happens after that, they then will pay the fines associated with them after they make their money.
Yeah, because that's the cost of doing business for them.
That's the process
all
now.
They see it as.
So every single time, and there's an overwhelming amount of things that hit the market and then get pulled off the market after there are safety signals, but it's not until people have been harmed and then they get pennies on the dollar. And in the case of when it came to Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family, they made $35 billion and ended up personally, their family, $7.5 billion that had to be spent on that.
Yeah, but they ultimately got out the door with $19 billion.
Plenty of money.
Plenty of money. Dude, the cost of doing business, that's all they see you as.
After 100,000 dead and 800,000 overdoses.
And nobody held responsible whatsoever.
Misdemeanor charges.
Yeah, dude, that's it. You killed 100,000 people and you got a misdemeanor charge? Get out of here.
So when I hear, Pocahontas telling me all about, the vaccine industry, and you have one senator after another, Bernie Sanders, you're going to do damage. Chris Christie, you're in over your head.
Good. I'm glad. I want him to rock the boat.
I'd rather have the attorney who knows how to deal with these companies.
And the other thing is, wonder what the number is for each of them. Because Bernie when he was asked, he was like, you're getting paid by pharma. We know that. Well, everybody in the room is.
Everybody in the room is.
Okay. You're trying to tell me that's better? Don't tell me how holy you are as you're taking money from pharmaceutical companies to promote their drugs or look the other way. Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, the numbers when RFK Jr. threw out at Pocahontas, that it was $850,000
That's what she
paid.
got, $850.
That's what he said. Now, Senator Bernie Sanders has received $1.9 million in lifetime contributions from pharmaceuticals. That is what's been able to track through public record from 1990 to 2024.
$1.9 million?
$1.9 million is what he's gotten over this period.
And Pocahontas is almost at $1 million at $850.
Yeah.
And then if you go through the entire list and just look at you wonder why these people are corrupt. Money corrupts everybody and everything. They might resist it for a while, but at some point the money gets to, well, I can pay off everything we owe. I can buy a new house. I could buy 2 new houses. I could buy 3 new houses, which is what Bernie Sanders did as he pretends to be holy man.
And by the way, Raphael Warnock, who hasn't been in the Senate that long.
Dude, and what an embarrassment to Georgia.
He's right behind Bernie Sanders at $1.7 million.
Of course he is.
He's basically had his hands out the entire time. So when he's going after RFK Jr.
And he actually pretends to be a holy man.
This is a dude who is corrupt as the day is long. So that's basically your story time. Just kind of let you know, this whole system is rigged. This whole system is so dirty. And RFK Jr. happens to be the one person right now who's going, hey, this is all rigged and dirty, and we're trying to fix it.
Don't you realize? Don't you see what's happening? And I think for most Americans, they do.
I think Americans actually believe that the FDA happens to test these. We tested the drugs ourselves.
Probably so.
It's like, no.
But I think most Americans are coming to the realization that's not the case, and probably over the last 5 years has been very eye-opening for the majority of the country.
Again, Operation Warp Speed removed the guardrails, but the guardrails exist. So it takes a drug, a product, a treatment, years to get to market. But it gets to market based on the amount of dollars in research that the company that is trying to sell it ends up putting in. It's their own. The wolves are guarding the hen house.
Exactly right. You took the word right out of my mouth. It's the people that are doing the research that are telling you the research is good. It'd be like asking an 8th grader to write a book report and then letting them grade their own book report.
I mean, think about this. If the story is what it is with Dr. Curtis Wright, that they were paying him $379,000 to $400,000, 3 times what he was making at the FDA, that is a drop in the bucket to make $35 billion on OxyContin.
Gosh, yeah.
And that's what they needed to do. At no impropriety. Yeah, well, there's a reason why he's already had to be deposed a couple different times.
Yes. Tug and Los until 10, getting you educated this morning on the Morning Xtra with Story Time. If you missed any of it, want to go back and hear more of it, you can listen to it on the Xtra 106.3 app. When we come back on Xtra, the judge who let DeCarlo Brown kill a woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, actually turns a profit on his release. Next on Xtra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to Xtra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, September 9th. The college football weekend is going to be a big one around these parts. First off, Georgia Tech will host Clemson on Saturday afternoon. That's going to be a noon kickoff. Clemson has been installed as a 9.5-point favorite. As for Georgia, they're on the road to open up SEC play in Knoxville as they play Tennessee. That's going to be the 3:30 kickoff on Saturday. Georgia currently a 3.5-point favorite in that ball game. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves back in the win column after a 4-1 win last night over the visiting Chicago Cubs at Truist Park. Game 2 of the series is set for tonight. It'll be Spencer Strider against Cade Horton on the mound. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
You hear me talking about it often with Central Heating and Air Conditioning, their maintenance agreements. And that's just a scheduled service where they come out twice a year and expect and service your HVAC for summer or as we head into the winter for winter use. Go through, clean the coils, the drains. They inspect the connections, the motor operation, safety controls, refrigerant levels. They replace the filters. And then if they find anything wrong, they fix it while they're there. Usually give you a really nice discount on that because they're out there and are able to see it and usually head those major repairs off in advance. So just a couple of the reasons to do that with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck and his team at 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. I've been using them for years and encourage you to do the same thing. Right now is the perfect time to do this because we're in such a mild weather pattern. Probably not going to be using the AC at full blast like you have been, and we're definitely not to the point where you're turning on the heat quite yet. So perfect time to call Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Again, that number, 770-GET-HEAT, or go to centralheat.com.
Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I'm looking for a reliable vehicle, something for the family, but also for my daughter who's going to be driving soon. Why should I call you?
The main thing is you get to see it's a full transparency sale. What I like to do is show you the whole gamut, show you everything that's out there and everything that's available. I can get any make, any year, any model.
Financing. If I need to use it, what can you offer?
We have some of the best banks available, and we got rates starting at 4.99 from a 23 model and above. It could be a 14 model. We still have banks that will do all the financing for you at good rates in their primary banks. If you have credit issues, we still have banks that can accommodate those issues as well.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
The older I get, the more I think about trust. I think about the people in my life who have my trust and earned my trust.
and the trust that I have placed in some people who I later learned abused that trust. I know we're alike in that way. We don't trust a lot of people anymore. It's like we're all Ronald Reagan, trust but always verify to make sure we're not making a mistake. I find it a little exhausting, quite honestly, and that's why I started realestateagentsitrust.com. I didn't have good experiences with buying and selling my homes, so we built Real Estate Agents I Trust to introduce you to one of the thousands of agents all over the country that we work with, that we have verified that they will help you have the most successful and good real estate transaction possible. Our network agents share our sensibilities, have great track records, are good and decent people, and I trust them to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're moving across town or across the country, visit realestateagentsitrust.com. The name says it all, realestateagentsitrust.com.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
I just want to tell you about a group of people running around loose in this country. These people actually believe the earth is flat. How stupid some people in our country are. You have to look out for them and stay the hell out of their way.
Atlanta Talk Radio legends are only on Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. If you love Neil Bortz, as we do, you can get him this morning about 7:25 when Neil joins the show. The only place to hear the legendary voice of Neil Bortz is here on Extra 106.3. So look forward to catching up with him and talking about some of the topics that we'll share through the show and things that are happening in his world and around the world. But let's jump into the judge who decided to let DeCarlo Brown out. Just let him go. This woman, not only does this woman, she deserves to be prosecuted for the crimes that she commits, because these, in my opinion,
what crime?
These
bad judgment.
Yes, that's what. But they need to be.
Crime.
I know, but that's why the U.S. Representative. Oh my gosh, from Florida, his name's on the tip of my tongue. He's introducing legislation so they will be held accountable when they release people and they commit crime after crime after crime after crime. There needs to be some accountability with our judges.
They're elected, they're voted on, they're appointed. This is what it is. This is why the communists work so hard to get to these positions.
Oh no, I know that.
Because there's zero accountability.
Yeah, and that's why we need to introduce accountability.
There won't ever be. It's just what it is. And you know what you get to do? Move out of these areas. But do not partake in this.
At some point, it becomes every area. That's their goal. They want it to be every area.
But that's where it's what you do to protect your areas, the areas you vote in. You're typically the one who gets to vote on who's going to be your judges in your county. How are these people accountable? So, if let's say this, if I was to have a side hustle here, because so much of this is about side hustle within this community, and it's gross.
There needs to be accountability with this too.
But let's just say that my side hustle, like Tug, out of nowhere, like somebody shows up here and you're like, "Who's this person?" I was like, "Oh, they're our intern." "Oh, they are?" "Yeah, I'm teaching them this business." "Oh, okay." And then you find out I'm charging them like $5,000.
Right. So you're exploiting the situation.
Aren't I?
Yeah.
Am I not using what my current position is to then enrich myself on the other end off of other people by saying, here's now this opportunity I'm doing? There's people in radio that do this. It's gross.
Yeah. I've never seen it, but I do believe it happens.
Oh, we've had scenarios where people will be like, in fact, one of them that I knew of.
Oh, no.
There was somebody who had a deal lined up with a broadcast school. And as part of their endorsement and their payment for the broadcast school, this person would then line these people up as interns and talk about placement using their program.
Okay. All right.
So it's like, yeah, it's just gross.
Yeah, it is.
It's a side hustle.
Yeah.
All right. What happens when your side hustle is, I try and turn as many criminals loose on the community, because, again, that serves me as the communist. But on the other end, I also just happen to be a director of a mental health facility.
Yeah, right. That should be helping people and probably are not at all. Or it doesn't seem like
because that's Judge Teresa Stokes, who's listed as the magistrate of the state of North Carolina, but then also the director of operations of Second Chance Services. Now, let me tell you how flimsy this thing is. This is as flimsy of a side hustle. This is not like some major facility. This is not something you can look up and be like,
not reputable.
No. This is a side hustle of like the most flimsy comparisons. What it turns into is, I'm starting this business over here, and I just happen to be a judge. Yeah. But I'm the director over here, so that somebody else is running it, and I'm getting my money on the other end.
So I can feed people into that facility and get paid for doing such.
How gross is that?
Yeah, it's disturbing and disgusting.
Because when you go to the Google reviews, it's flimsy. Like one of the ones that always has jumped out to me. So you've heard of the basketball player Kawhi Leonard, one of the all-time great dudes.
Craziest laugh of all time.
Yes. So Kawhi Leonard has an uncle named Uncle Dennis. And he had not. Now, these people raised him after his father had passed away.
Oh, wow.
Now, Uncle Dennis and his wife ran a company where it was basically how to handle yourselves as a business communications company. And so they had the most shady website. And their point was, we'll teach you how to handle yourself in business meetings. We'll teach you business etiquette.
Did they have a background in any of this?
Not really.
Yeah.
But so they were pushing their Kawhi Leonard, their nephew, to go to larger markets so that they could then push their end of what they thought would be. It's like, now we'll get other clients for this stuff.
We're going to ride on his coattails.
So in this case, you have the judge who's turning loose criminals into a society in hopes that they end up at the mental health care facility that she's the director of.
I wonder how many times she required them to go to a mental health care facility and recommended that one. You know what I mean? You probably wouldn't be dumb enough to require them to go to the one that you run, but you require them to get mental health care and then suggest that one first. You know what I mean? It just lines up. It just seems like it would be hand in glove.
And it is so shaky, by the way, when you go to like whether it's the Facebook page or the Google ads.
Yeah.
This was her side hustle, and it was just gross.
Yeah, it's terrible, and so fitting for the way the communist works. You know, they hate capitalism, but they sure like making money off of it. Isn't that the shock of a lifetime to find out that most communists really enjoy having lots of money?
It's interesting how they will rig the system to make sure that they're the ones that are capitalizing off it.
They're enriching
using
themselves
capitalism
while telling you that you shouldn't, while telling you that you should share the wealth and all the other BS that goes along with
You
socialism.
would think over 20 years of radio, you and I have seen like the shadiest moves like this stuff.
Buddy, yeah. I've been fortunate. I've never seen anybody do what you've said.
I saw that one,
but I've heard about that many times. I've been fortunate not to ever.
Now that's different. Like I've seen people that have been like adjunct professors at a university, or they will do their job and then go teach at a broadcast school. I'm like, no issue there.
Totally
zero. But when you're using your position to then also get paid on the other end of it.
Yeah.
That's what this judge was doing, except like if I don't have an intern that works out correctly, that just means that maybe they have to go to a smaller market, or maybe they have to go hustle a little bit harder to get into the business. She's turning loose people that are potential killers.
Yeah, well, not potential, was a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, there's zero accountability for this. This is what it is, and there never will be. It just, you have to hire better people. And when a Soros-oriented DA comes in, think about this: you have in Fulton County every opportunity to vote against when Fonnie Willis hits the ballot, and yet this particular county was like, sounds all good. So then when you reap it, it's your fault.
It's your fault. Absolutely, no,
it's
that's
always
exactly
your fault.
right. But the thing is, after a while, when you see, there should be some sort of review. When you see a judge that releases somebody 15 times and that person eventually kills somebody, there needs to be some responsibility. There has to be a judicial review. You have to be able to remove people from their positions in government. There has to be that.
We have these sorts of systems for, let's say, doctors who make errors.
Yeah.
We have these sort of systems for lawyers that break the law. You're not going to see it for judges.
Right.
You know what it is? The ballot box. That's how you fix it.
Yeah.
That's how it's always going to be.
Yeah. I think there needs to be a better...
unless they get caught up in some sort of criminal conspiracy.
Sound like there was one right there.
This one's pretty shady.
That's as shady as it gets. There needs to be some kind of review. Good Lord. Will there ever be? You're probably right, no. But it just seems so obvious that logic would tell you that needs to happen. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Trump's common sense approach to crime, including that brutal crime in Charlotte. That's the discussion next on Extra 106.3.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Hey, Braves fans, sometimes life throws you a knee-buckling curveball. That's when Truist One Checking steps up to the plate. If you're behind in the count, you won't have to worry about overdraft fees. Plus, eligible clients enjoy a balance buffer for some extra cushion. You'll get a convenient mobile app to keep an eye on things and access to thousands of Truist ATMs. Be ready every inning with Truist One Checking. It's life-ready checking that grows with you. Get Truist One Checking today. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
Yeah, I love this fall-type season here in Georgia. That means football, family time, cooler evenings out on the deck. Wait a minute. Did you know that more than 1 million decks in Atlanta metro area are not up to code? You know, codes in the counties change. Before you fire up that grill, hang those fall decorations, ask yourself, is your deck really safe? Wobbly boards, loose railings may not seem like a big deal until somebody falls up in the bushes. That's why you need to call the only pros of the Kimmer Trust and learn all about it with Peach State for a free safety inspection. Don't trust guesswork or YouTube or somebody says, hey, I got a hammer, let me look at it for you. Wait a minute. Jeff and his crew know what to look for. They'll give you an honest opinion because they inspect every deck like it's holding up their own family. If it's time for a refresh, Peach State can help you pick the perfect look. Classic wood, low maintenance composite, maybe something built to last for generations, of course. Don't wait for a surprise step to ruin your fall plans. 770-485-8011. A free safety inspection, or look them up, peachstatewindows.com. Decks, windows, and more built with integrity, quality, and attention to detail. 770-485-8011. Call now.
Experience luxury like never before behind the wheel of a brand new Cadillac from Jim Ellis Cadillac.
From the iconic Escalade to the innovative electric Lyric, Jim Ellis Cadillac offers the models you know and love, along with the latest in luxury EVs.
And the buying experience just as luxurious as the Cadillac name itself. With great prices, a great selection, and a team of knowledgeable sales associates, you'll love shopping at their showroom conveniently located on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter.
Prefer to shop from home? Visit JimEllisCadillac.com, where you can browse all the latest offers and even start or complete your entire purchase online with the Jim Ellis Expressway.
Want to try before you buy? Schedule an at-home test drive and enjoy the convenience of home vehicle delivery. Luxury is waiting. Experience it today at Jim Ellis Cadillac. Jim Ellis Cadillac, where you can always expect the best.
Jim Ellis, expect the best.
Securing America.
The Senate Commerce Committee recently held a hearing to discuss the current space race with China, which Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz described this way.
It is today a strategic frontier with direct consequences for national security, economic growth, and technological leadership.
The CEO of the Coalition for Deep Space Exploration, Alan Cutler, issued this warning about China's desire to control space.
Their intent is clear, their progress is real, and time is not on our side.
He added,
the country that lands astronauts on the moon next shapes the rules of engagement in space for decades to come.
Lieutenant General John Shaw, the former deputy commander of U.S. Space Command, warned of the dangers of the U.S. not coming up with a unified and coordinated approach, saying failure to do so could put the country
in a position of increasing disadvantage as we get further into this century.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
A new federal illegal immigration crackdown in another city. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's being launched in Chicago and across Illinois, called Operation Midway Blitz, which the Department of Homeland Security says is in honor of Katie Abraham, a woman killed in January in a drunk driving hit-and-run crash blamed on a man here illegally who's now charged. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons just told Fox,
we're out there going getting these criminal illegal aliens that the state and local officials don't want to deal with, or they don't have the heart to deal with. We have to take these threats out of the streets so young people like Katie will be around to have a great and wonderful life. life.
Both Illinois' governor and Chicago's mayor, who are Democrats, have spoken out against increased immigration enforcement as unwanted and unnecessary. The mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, is calling a Supreme Court ruling allowing ICE to resume an immigration crackdown in Southern California dangerous and un-American.
A federal judge had blocked the raids in July, siding with advocacy groups that argued officials were stopping suspected illegal immigrants without a valid reason. But Justice Brett Kavanaugh, one of the 6 who sided with the Trump administration, argues that ICE's tactics were fair, writing in his concurrence, quote, under this court's precedents, not to mention common sense, those circumstances taken together can constitute at least reasonable suspicion of illegal presence in the United States.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro. Israel has ordered a new evacuation in Gaza as it ramps up the war against Hamas.
Previous warnings were for people in areas where there were about to be concentrated operations or airstrikes. This is for all of Gaza City, seen by Israel as the last Hamas stronghold. Dozens of high-rise buildings have already been destroyed, alleged to be used by Hamas for military infrastructure and surveillance. Civilians living in them are now out on the streets. The United Nations says a lot of families can't afford to leave and go south, and refugee sites are overcrowded for those who do.
Fox's Chris Foster. In Russia's war in Ukraine, another deadly attack. A bombing in the village in the east killed at least 21 Ukrainians. America's listening to Fox.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
Extra 1063 wants to know, is this what you voted for? Call 404-741-1230 and let us know on the Morning Extra.
I have to answer yes. Yes, the answer is yes. This is what I voted for.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, so exactly what I voted for.
So far, so much fun.
Yeah, it feels like that we're righting the wrongs, in many cases, righting the wrongs. Changing the way America looks at things, changing the way America speaks. You're actually able to speak now and not feel like you need to hold your tongue on everything.
There's no reason this can't be fun.
That's right.
Kind of the way I look at it in the morning. Because every now and then, like you got to deal with a dark topic, something that's really sensitive. Yeah. Here's what it is. But for the most part, I'd say 90%, 95% of the time that we're talking about things as they stand right now, policy, movement within the government, some of the moves that are being executed, what the administration is saying. This is fun.
Yeah, there's not anything.
They're hard charging.
It's funny. There's not anything when Donald Trump proposes an idea, whatever it is, whether it's crime in Chicago or other cities or whatever, or even strikes against Venezuelan drug vessels. There's not any of those things where I'm like, wait. That's not right. That's not good. So far, everything he's done, everything he said is just very common sense to me.
Well, the strike against a Venezuelan drug vessel, as we pointed out, once they were designated as a terrorist organization, now that was done against Antifa. We pointed that out in 2020. And what did the courts rule? That is a domestic group. You can consider them domestic terrorists. They cannot be treated in the same way that you would consider a narco-terrorist state. Mm-hmm. So it's a different level of action. Your military can be used against these terrorists.
Here, I'm for it.
And so from a legal perspective, I'm sitting there signing off going, okay, I get it. I'm all on board with it. But what have I also done? When Donald Trump first floated the idea of going to Chicago, I said, we're going to have a little bit of a legal issue here because he does not have the same powers as he does in D.C. You would have to have an active situation, in which case there was rioting or some sort of civil unrest. Now, I didn't ponder the fact that you can always run in other people like ICE
agents
in a large amount, which is totally legal.
Yeah, that's exactly right, which is what he's
So it may not be the National Guard.
Yeah,
it might be
what
something
he's
different.
potentially doing, and they're using that Naval Station Great Lakes, where that's the only Navy boot camp left. There used to be San Diego, Orlando, Great Lakes. Now Great Lakes is the final. It's the only open Navy base anymore to do boot camp. But those ICE agents are going to be housed there.
One of those aspects that I did not consider at the time, because I've looked at it in terms of, all right, National Guard. Well, you can't roll the National Guard into Baltimore. You know who you can? Oh, about 75,000 IRS agents that are armed.
Yeah, I know, right? Joe Biden didn't seem to have a problem with that.
Like, your idea was you were going to go look into middle-class people and, you're armed and want to look into what their taxes say. Instead, we're redeploying you to Baltimore.
What do you think?
How's that going to be?
Yeah, right.
The intentions of what the plan was. Well, we'll grow the IRS and they'll go after the middle class. Well, the IRS does whatever you tell them to. You created a fighting force.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
Thank you.
No,
I didn't do it.
But all of it is really common sense. That's the thing I think most people see and most people agree with. Just lay it out and let the facts be what they are and let people decide on the merits. And usually common sense is going to be what prevails. And that's what Donald Trump, when he was asked about this Charlotte murder, he talked about a very common sense point of view. Listen to what he says about this.
I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed this morning or last night in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic. Just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible, but just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there. So they're evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
That's exactly right. We don't handle it. We don't have a country. The way he described it is the way that I've heard regular people when they're asking me if I've seen this. The way that they describe the video is exactly the way that he described the video. He speaks in such a common man terms, or in common man terms, that it's relatable for people. And then he brings up, if we can't fix this, we don't have a country. And he's right. A country is a country, its borders, sure, but it's about the community that lives in our country as well.
I don't mean to sound like I'm being a hypocrite about this stuff. Like, part of the reason why when we have gun violence in this country, I will point out, well, the Second Amendment is incredibly important to protecting the First Amendment and so much of what your country is. Yet the left will consistently say, well, shouldn't we deserve better when it comes to some mass shooting? And there's a point where I say, well, shouldn't we deserve saner?
Yeah,
this is typically what happens.
Shouldn't we deserve better on the light rail that you're always promoting?
But that's the part where I then say, well, yeah, like you shouldn't be getting off of work from your pizza shop where you're a refugee from a war-torn country and all you're doing is sitting on public transit and somebody butchers you to death.
Yeah.
For no reason, no interaction. That's I don't know why that bothers me in a different way when it's indiscriminate, when there is all the signs are there.
Yeah.
In many of these cases,
including 14 times arrested.
And the left gets all worked up about the gun. What I am saying is we have a situation in society where there are people that should not be among us. And whether they're crazy or they're ultra violent, I don't care what their method of what they do, we should deserve better.
Yeah. And I think to your point about why it bothers you more, the indiscriminate, those crimes that are indiscriminate like that, is because they're senseless, right? There's not a rationale. They didn't get into an argument.
No.
There wasn't a fight over
There was no escalation over some sort of situation that got out of hand.
That's why it bothers you. I would think is why it bothers me.
It's the same way that when a trans woman decides to shoot up a church and you say, well, that's indiscriminate. That's just disgusting. There wasn't any sort of wrongdoing there outside of what was going on in this person's mind. And it all goes back to mental illness. I don't care that it's the gun or the knife or what, the mentally ill and the people that are ultra violent. Those are the people that if we expect to have a better society when everyone's like, do better, well, then let's get rid of crazy and lock it away.
That's right. And his family asked for him to be confined. That's the other thing that is conveniently left out of the story. when you see Brian Stelter talk about it, or when you see MSNBC talk about it.
Of race.
Oh my gosh! But we'll get to that in a bit.
How did that man get back on the air?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I mean, they fired him for a reason.
What does he have? Like, what kind of pictures does he have of people at CNN that he continues to get back on the air?
Jeffrey, you don't understand. We got to bring Stelter back.
That's right. What? Why would we do that? That's insane. Nobody wants to do that.
He's got all the naked pictures.
He has to. He has to have something. But when that man, DeCarlo Brown's family, says he needs to be locked up, they know better than the judge. In my view, they know better than the judge. The judge made a poor decision. He's out after 14 times, and he's mentally crazy. Does his mental illness, does that forgive the criminal act that he committed? Absolutely not. But and he needs to be punished for the criminal act. But he should have been punished way before this. I don't understand why we had to make it to get to this point where there's 14 times. I mean, I do understand it, but I don't understand why we accept that. You know what I mean? With these judges, like why is there pitchforks on the doorsteps of the courthouse?
I mean, you may ask the question, well, has there ever been any violence in that past? And yes, in fact, there was an assault charge against his sister, which is what led the family to saying he needs help. Like, there is a problem here that goes beyond just, oh, he's angry, or, oh, he's just a common criminal.
Depressed or whatever.
He's got an issue with schizophrenia that causes him to do these things. Now, does that absolve him of anything? No, he's going to go to jail for life. He might even get the death penalty over this. We'll just see where it goes. Should it be considered probably a hate crime according to federal standards? Yeah, it would kind of fit that.
Yeah, sure would.
I mean,
you can't say that out loud.
Well, yeah, of course you can.
I guess we can now. In Trump's America, you can call it like say it.
Well, if you have the extended video, which is out there, and a guy like Van Jones from CNN, who spent all day yesterday trying to say, well, this is not hate-oriented, this is not an attack on a white girl.
That's what the man said.
35 seconds in the video, I got that white girl.
That's exactly what he said.
I got that white girl.
Right.
That's all he saw was a chance to attack a white woman for just sitting there being white.
Yeah. No,
and whatever schizophrenia that is, that's where it showed up.
And that goes back to my accountability of the judges, man. There has to be, something. There has to be some sort of recall mechanism. There has to be something, and we probably have to vote on it. I'm not opposed to that. But there has to be something that takes these judges and pulls them off the courts.
Well, I think there's a failure to make a connection. What happens right now in these largely Democrat cities that do have large black populations is that you have George Soros and those that back this movement, these NGOs. What they do is they find someone who is intelligent, somebody who has worked in the law field, and predominantly they're black. And we have a nature in this country to vote for people who look like us. That's just kind of what happens.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
So while this person is telling you about cashless bail and how we're not going to let the corrupt prison system take over our city and we're going to do more for people in terms of social services, all they're telling you is we're putting these people out on the streets. And yet these communities have not made the connection because they're looking at it saying, he looks like me, she looks like me.
They'll believe the way I believe.
They'll take care of what I'm... And in the meantime, by the time you're really living in it within your community, you're going, this person isn't serving me.
No. And we're finding out, I think a lot of people are finding out the hard way that not everybody that looks like you represents you.
No, not at all.
Or has your best interest at heart.
Not at all. And
it should be very common sense.
And we'll see what happens when it comes to somebody like Fonnie Willis. There is no way that woman should find herself ever being DA of Fulton County again. But there will be a faction of people that will be like, she brought charges against Trump.
That's my girl.
Even though she basically used taxpayer money and filtered it to her boo, and she couldn't keep from taking his pants off,
and then send him to the White House to make sure everything was coordinated.
And it blew the case up.
Allegedly.
It's like, all right, like we talk about side hustles. She had a side hustle. This is what she was doing. I mean, you have to demand better services when it comes to whether it's a judge or whether it's your county sheriff or whether it's the people that, whether it's your school system. Demand better, you'll get better. The problem is we've now fallen into this area where in some of these large cities, it's, okay, who's been put in front of me? Who do they look like? Do they look like me? Okay, well, I'll vote for them.
That's who I'm voting for. Yeah, it's easy to fall in that trap, for sure. And it happens over and over again. It's about to happen in New York City. That's the next communist hotbed. It is going to be a cancer that I don't know that we can ever cure.
So Mom Donnie has spent the better part of the last 2 or 3 weeks. He's now taking real shots. There's been discussions when it comes to your current mayor. Maybe he finds a job within the administration to clear the field. And the belief is that if it's between the devil you know in Cuomo or the devil you don't in Mom Donnie, you might be better off with Cuomo.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, as bad as he is, the lesser of the evils.
It might be the lesser of the evils.
And think about it, this is a man that put people back in.
He killed thousands.
Yes.
With his COVID policies.
And that's the
lesser of the evil. Okay, a man whose COVID policies were so bad that he got a bunch of people killed in retirement homes because his policy at the time was, if you were positive, if you were ill, send them back to the home. Rather than isolate them, rather than put them on the ships, put them, remember, we gave New York like everything they needed for this stuff.
And they completely botched it.
And he was like, nah, send them back to the nursing homes.
And then thousands died.
And let them pass this stuff around, which, by the way, average age, again, of death with COVID was 78 years old. If there was ever a time where you'd say, let's be really ultra careful, it wasn't with the 30-year-old or the 28-year-old or the 18-year-old.
15-year-old, yeah.
It was with the 78-year-old, the 85-year-old with the weakened immune system. That's where it should have been. Age-extrapolated care. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. All right, so with that being said, so here's Mom Donnie. And these are the sorts of slings and arrows this man is taking. He's actually now having to spend a lot of time saying, that man that I was in 2020, I'm not that man anymore.
Right.
This was one of the previous interviews he did when it came to defunding the police.
If city council legislation to abolish the NYPD gang database were to pass, would you support and sign that?
I have supported that proposal. It's one I've supported because of the vast dragnet has meant the inclusion of New Yorkers on the basis of whether they go out late, photos they put on social media, so much of the facts of life of being a young New Yorker. And yet it then becomes a mark of suspicion. And it is a concern of mine that we do not live up to, of all people, Eric Adams's words in 2021, who said that New Yorkers need not choose between safety and justice. There's no question that we have to take gangs extremely seriously. And yet I find that a database that includes New Yorkers on such bases is one that doesn't actually do exactly that.
One of the tools that law enforcement has is databases, not just criminal databases, but gang affiliations.
Absolutely. And it's international.
Because that's the connection. When it happens to be, hey, we have a case, it involves this person. All right, what are the known affiliates? And you can then search. It makes the job of law enforcement easier. So while he's not talking about, well, I'm going to defund the police and less police, he's talking about less resources.
Yeah, we're going to take everything they use to make the city safe away.
And as he makes it sound like, and this is the proposal when I tell you, he's telling you what he's doing, but kind of looks like you, kind of sounds like you. All right, maybe we'll go with this.
Super charming, too.
Sure. What he's telling you, very simply, is that, this is probably gets used against regular New Yorkers, so why would we want this available?
Because we want those regular New Yorkers who are committing crimes in gangs to be locked up. That's why.
As he puts it, New Yorkers like to go out late. New Yorkers like to post on social media. That doesn't get you into the gang database.
No, it doesn't. And the other thing.
You know what it does? When you got arrested and here's your tats.
Yes, that's exactly right. Joe Biden did the same thing from the border security, the Border Patrol. Took their ability to use DNA, took their ability to use background checks to keep people from coming into the country. They scrapped all that. Everybody came in.
A form of defunding. It's making less resources available to law enforcement.
Exact same thing happened. When we come back on Extra 106.3, Neil Bortz, the Talk Master, joins us.
Neil Bortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Howard as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guest is Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labatt. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. At RBM of Atlanta, we embody this definition. Convenience is our middle name. With school in full swing and after-school activities taking over all your available time, now more than ever, convenience is a must-have. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for those services. Once the services have been complete, we'll bring your Mercedes-Benz back to you. With over 110 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2025 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor at RBM of Atlanta for details. September is Fan Appreciation Month at Truist Park, and you don't want to miss out on the fun coming up. The Washington Nationals battle your Braves September 22nd through the 24th, presented by OnX Hunt. On September 22nd, the first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Ronald Acuna Jr. red carpet bobblehead presented by Truist. And then on September 23rd, it's Los Bravos Night, powered by Georgia Power. Make sure to arrive early to enjoy a live salsa band and dancing, an on-field presentation recognizing Hispanic players and coaches, and so much more fun. Tickets start at just $7. And the 2025 regular season concludes with the Pittsburgh Pirates in town, September 26th through the 28th. The weekend includes a Kids Club Appreciation Party on Sunday featuring free face painting, special appearances, and so much more. Visit Braves.com/promos to find all the details and to purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Tuesday, September 9th. A suspected high-ranking cartel member was detained in Atlanta after being extradited from Mexico to face federal charges. Roberto Lopez, also known as Shrek, is an alleged lieutenant in the Sinaloa cartel and was hiding out in Mexico for the past 10 years. He's accused of smuggling tons of cocaine and hundreds of guns across the border to Atlanta and Memphis. He faces life in prison. Cobb County Police have identified a victim in a cold case dating back to 1984. Her body remained unidentified for decades after it was found near the Chattahoochee River. Recent advanced DNA testing led the police to identify the victim as Jane Miller of Mableton. She would have been 61 years old. The case is still under active investigation. And police are searching for teens in East Cobb after a fight at Waffle House broke out Saturday night. Staff said the teens were asked to leave several times, and a video of the fight that went viral on social media showed the teens jumping over the counter and fighting employees at the location on Sandy Springs Road just after 2 a.m. Detectives are working to identify all involved. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. It is a good day because Neil Bortz is on the show. What's up, Neil?
Not much.
Okay.
So
I got nothing.
We were joking around coming into your segment. Like, what if we just started throwing out like the most random things at Neil and saying like, Neil, 0 point energy, go. And so,
Look, you know, we used to do a show way back in the earliest days of my talk radio epic called Devil's Advocate.
Oh, okay. Tell me about this.
Well, the whole thing, you might want to try it sometime, is a caller, whatever the caller said, the host would disagree with.
Oh, no matter what.
No matter what. Okay.
No matter what, and present. Well, I mean, we're not going to get sexual here.
No, right.
You know,
but
you know, I think no.
Well, in a very debate-like setting, that if you have to argue the other side, how can you do that intelligently?
Well, yeah, and it was quite an exercise for the host, and it led me to developing one rule for my show that I kept until they, finally got tired of me. No, they didn't get tired of me. And that is, if anybody ever called up and said, "I agree with everything you say," I would say, "Thanks, but we don't need you," and I'd cut them off the air immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, I said, if you agree with everything, look, one of us isn't necessary, and I'm getting paid to be here, so bye-bye. and I would never entertain a caller that said, "Well, I agree with everything you say." The more they disagreed with me, the better the program
the better
was.
the discussion is.
I would like to believe that the things we bring up on this radio program, that there's people out there that go, "I don't like that."
I got to ask Tug, why is you wearing that shirt inside out?
It does look that he's not feeling well, Neil.
Yeah, there's no telling. It could be inside out for all I know. I'm so medicine head right now, Neil. You could ask me anything and I'll give you the wrong answer.
You are. Oh,
you are too? Are you sick too?
No, I'm not sick.
No.
But what a year this has been. God. I look at Donna and say, can the rest of this year, the last quarter, be normal?
Oh yeah.
I just tried to run down the list: E. coli, UTI, sepsis,
that's tough.
Coronary ablation, AFib, all this asthmatic bronchitis. Give me a freaking break.
Yeah, it gets old after a while, doesn't it? I've been very fortunate. I don't typically get sick.
How old are you?
48.
Okay, then bite me.
Well, yeah. Why you got to brag at Neil that I'm always healthy, Neil?
No, I just mean that
I know you got your AFib. I don't have AFib.
Yeah, I'm usually very healthy, but this has come on pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, I don't have it anymore.
Well, see, there you go. Because of the
procedure done.
Yeah. I mean, how many of you have had a 4th of July sparkler shoved into your left ventricle?
I've not.
I can't say I have.
I've not. It seems like a very sparkly thing to have I, though?
Well, I tell you what, there was never any pain ever associated with the AFib, the surgical process, or the healing. But I'll tell you what really did knock me for a loop is 4 hours of general anesthesia. Try recovering from that. That messes you up good.
Yeah, anesthesia, I don't like that stuff. And it's just like pain medication. I don't like it either. It makes me itch.
Well, now, wait a minute. There are some. There are some that have a little efficacy out there. Okay, I've been looking at. I hope neither one of you. By the way, is that a cow on your hat?
Oh, for me, no. This is a ram. I have a very aggressive looking ram. It looks like a cow.
Well, yeah.
Man, I'm going to have to buy another hat.
It looks like a ram. We have bad cameras in here, Neil.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully my YouTube will fix this for me.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find a solution. I put a lot of messages on T-shirts, and Donna gets really tired of it. But the one T-shirt I have that virtually everybody I walk by, they'll point at it and thumbs up, and I like that, and it just simply says, more dogs, less people.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. Dogs are man's best friend. They're always your friend. They're always happy to see you. People aren't.
However, the alligator Alcatraz shirt.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Does that draw them off sides?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I gave one to my son-in-law who lives in Mayretta, and I don't think he'll wear it.
Is he a liberal? Or he just don't want the fight.
He might enjoy the fight. He's a tough SOB.
Okay.
I remember one time I flew him in my little bitty airplane to Norfolk for a speech. And we're at the back of the convention hall, and I'm waiting to go forward, and some guy walks back there and gets in my face about something I said on the air. And all of a sudden, my son-in-law, we'll just call him Cosmo, all of a sudden, he's between me and this guy, and he looks at this guy and says, "That'll do, pal."
Yeah, enough of you.
And the guy looked up at my son, turned around, and walked away. He's an imposing guy. He looks like Aquaman.
But he won't wear the alligator Alcatraz. You know what? I appreciate that. He's not looking to draw a fight, but he will end fights.
Several times he got between me and somebody that had a beef with me, and I said, "This is going to work. This little marriage arrangement with my daughter is going to work out just fine."
I like this guy.
Yeah, but there's several things here. First of all, what's the big deal about a turtle crossing the road?
I don't.
Whether or not you would stop to pick up a turtle that's crossing the road.
What is it, like some sort of psychological test to see if I value the turtle that much?
Well, this Ryan Routh guy that's on trial?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to act as his own lawyer.
Yeah. And one of the questions he wanted to ask potential jurors during voir dire, see, I still know some legal terms.
There you go.
One of the questions he wanted to ask is, what would you do if you saw a turtle crossing the road? Would you stop and pick it up?
Well, I guess if you want to ask potential jurors what you want to ask them,
the judge said, no, that question won't be allowed. It has nothing to do, but I do have a word of advice.
For Ryan Ruth or us?
No, for people that stop to pick up a turtle crossing the road.
Oh, yes, go ahead then.
When you pick up that turtle, if it's a snapper, you don't want its head facing you.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, you do not want its rear end facing you either. Because as soon as you pick it up, more likely than not, it is going to pee a stream like you wouldn't believe. So have it sideways.
Okay. There you go. That's some advice that we could all use today.
I hope I have helped somebody with that today. Oliver and Fawn have tied the knot.
Well, look at there. That's good news, I suppose. Right?
I do not know who these people are.
Nor do I.
Oliver North.
Oh, he got married?
Oliver, yeah, at this point.
Fawn Hall.
Like, wouldn't you say, hey, listen, I've gone this long without being married. Maybe I can continue this lifestyle?
He married this. She was gorgeous. I don't know what she looks like
he's
now.
81.
He's 81, yeah. Yeah. I always liked him. Okay.
Me too.
The Charlotte. Have you watched the entire video?
Not that they've made available. We've watched up until the point of the attack, and then we've watched the follow-up where the attacker is walking away and talking about how I got me a white girl.
Yeah, that reminds me of the book, what was it, White Girl Bleed a Lot? Ever heard about that one?
Yeah,
I have.
Okay. Anyway, it's time. It was in the 1960s that the Supreme Court issued some rulings that put an end to places like Milledgeville.
Like the crazy house.
Yeah, insane asylums. Come on, we need to bring them back.
Yes, we do.
I think this is an essential part of protecting society. That people, everything you need to know about the mayor of Charlotte, you learn when you hear her use the word unhoused instead of homeless.
Yes.
I mean, okay, she's one of those. But it is time for insane asylums. If people with due process are judged to be criminally insane, where they present a threat to society, lock them away.
Well,
Excuse me.
Well, and wouldn't have it had been better? Obviously, you get to the point of murder, and now, okay, that's just what it is. But you had this man's family who talked about the need to have him institutionalized. So that, let's say, for instance, after the incident he had with his family where him and his sister got in a fight, had he been actually institutionalized, spent several months in a facility, there is a possibility he comes out of there and he never commits a murder.
Or he never comes out of there and never commits a murder. Either way.
Yeah.
Well, there's another possible solution. I will bet you that firearms are prohibited on the Charlotte transit system.
Oh, I'm willing to bet so, yes.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not sure whether or not they are on MARTA.
I would imagine so. But the thing is, I bet there's a sign, just like there's one here in the Battery, that says no weapons of any kind.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
right.
And it
remember when I came up to your studio a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Well.
Well, but see, that's the thing, Neil. Those signs don't prevent anything, and at all. Like, they're useless. It's pointless to have them.
Well, all it does is say
there's a lot of people that can't protect themselves.
Yeah, it's law-abiding people will not be found inside this facility. I like the idea of this guy, and I think this has happened several times. You have a neighbor who was staunchly anti-gun, and this sort of guy puts his sign in his yard and says, "My neighbor," with an arrow, has no guns in their house. However, I do.
Yeah. So when you decide to rob a house, better pick wisely.
Well, no, I mean, that's one of the best deterrents I've ever heard of.
Right.
But we need to lock these people away. And I don't know how we're going to get there.
Well, it's going to take some challenge.
But let's go back to that, Neil, because this really happened before my time and Tug's time. Was it just a matter of corruption that got this entire system shut down? Because that's all we've ever heard as to why the institutions went away, and it strictly fell on the criminal justice system to take care of people that are like this.
I don't really remember. I wasn't an active loudmouth at the time.
Sure.
But I think it had to do with due process concerns, and you can't just incarcerate somebody and deny them their freedom because they think differently than you may. But something's got to be done, because now every time we see a violent crime, the perpetrator's family is going to say, "Well, he suffers from mental illness."
That doesn't.
Well, I wish you'd have told us earlier. We could have had him locked up.
Well, but the crazy thing is that dude's family did, in the rare case that the family did, and they still didn't do anything about it.
They tried hard.
Yeah.
They try, and I think that's been the case with some school shooters too.
Yeah, where it's been, if there was a program to put them into. And we're talking about institutionalized, as in they're not allowed out until the state decides that this is when they're able to get out. Because a lot of these programs, Neil, when you start reading about them, if the person decides I'm good, they can just leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of it's voluntary.
They need to be, and I don't know what to do. Mental illness is tough, and every single walking Homo sapien on this earth has some degree of it.
I know, you're with us every Tuesday at 7:25. Yeah. We're all a little crazy for getting together like this.
Well, everybody is a little bit twisted somewhere, but not criminally twisted, not to the point that we're going to take a life. But this Ryan Routh, he wants to ask jurors whether or not they would pick up a turtle trying to cross the road. He may be batshit nutso. Did I say that? I apologize.
Yes, that's all right.
Yeah, we got it.
We got you.
Okay. Oh my God.
Hello, Internet, and those listening on the app.
Okay. Well, now that's this is probably my last time with you guys.
No, you're fine. We got you covered.
We caught it.
But
I mean, if you're on Kimmer's show, you can say whatever you want. All those get out.
No, nobody hears it because he's in the background.
But it's funny you bring up Milledgeville, because when I was a kid, that was what my mama would always say to me and my sister. If y'all don't start acting right, we're going to send you to Milledgeville. It was understood that that's where they send crazy people.
I know. This whole Charlotte thing. I just learned this morning that this girl's family also lives in Charlotte, and of course they're having an incredibly rough time over this, and it is just so absolutely sad. But you know what is good though? Chicago better stand back. The Supreme Court has turned ICE loose on Los Angeles.
Yes. We got a chance to talk about that, yes, while you may not be able to use the National Guard in certain circumstances, you have ICE at your disposal.
And just make the National Guardsmen ICE deputies.
Absolutely. Deputize them as ICE agents. Or as IRS agents or any other agency, federal agency that the president wants to use.
And speaking of agents, Babylon Bee had a great headline the other day that the Justice Department is now parachuting attorneys into these drug boats coming out of Venezuela so that they could read the rights to all of the people on the boat before it's blown out of the water.
Okay, well, good.
Give them that little extra due process.
That's right. Yeah, give them what
that's a story that I just loved. I could watch that video over and over of that boat screaming across the Gulf or the Caribbean, whatever, on its way to Florida with all those drugs, and then just all of a sudden, the sad thing about that is that none of the guys in that boat knew that they were about to go take the eternal dirt nap.
No idea, no clue, never knew it was coming.
Just all of a sudden, they just didn't exist anymore, and we have leftists in this country. Oh, they didn't get due process. Under what the hell law were they entitled due process out there?
Yeah, well, they're not American citizens.
They were already designated as a terrorist organization.
And now I'm waiting for the next Venezuelan jets. I think they have two. To buzz an American warship out in the Caribbean, and I've got to believe that Trump, having located some fighter jets in Puerto Rico now, have given them orders. If you can catch them doing this, blow them out of the sky.
A little Sea Whiz should take care of that. The old close-in weapon system. Those they look like R2-D2s on the side of Navy ships, and they shoot about 3,500 rounds per minute.
Yeah, they just go.
That's exactly the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, my brother was in the Navy. He's a commie. But anyway.
Well, that's tough news. I hate to hear that.
Well, I think it was self-defense. You know, his golfing buddies would always be listening to me in Dallas, and they'd give him a hard time, and so he just had to take the opposite point of view.
Oh, no.
So
that's terrible.
He's a great guy. He's the caretaker of the family. If anybody in the family is in trouble, he stepped forward and took care of them. God bless him.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, if we could just get it politically lined up right.
But now I'm waiting for Trump to go into Chicago. That Chicago mayor,
Brandon Johnson.
Yeah. Is it Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah, what a dork.
Well, Neil, and this is what we went back to on this. When you came out of the 2020 BLM movement, you really don't have an ability to suddenly change course direction and now say, well, what we really need is more law enforcement, because you campaigned on less law enforcement.
Same in Charlotte, though, by the way. That governor, same thing.
The governor or the mayor?
The governor, mayor too, probably, but governor was the one out in front. But you just see Democrats doing it everywhere.
And now, how do they change their mind? How do they? On what basis can they say? All of a sudden we need more police, and they need to be a little bit stronger out there.
Can't do it. No, can't do it now. Now, if you're a regular Democrat that didn't get behind BLM or hands up, don't shoot, or any of the other stuff that was total BS, then you have a leg to stand on, like Muriel Bowser in D.C., who flat out pointed out this is working for us.
She won politically. She did. And
I know.
She's a smart lady for doing it.
Can she get reelected after she said that?
We'll see.
Yeah, well.
I mean, at this point, you would think if the community is as happy as they are with having clean streets and being able to move around, that's probably going to benefit her long term, which is why I think she leaned into it.
Okay, getting away from crime.
Can we talk about the pyramids in Egypt and how they were created by aliens, or what are we going to jump into?
I'm sure they were. But I told Donna the other day, I said, all we need to do is get a good enough telescope, and we can watch them build those pyramids. And she looked at me with this, oh, God, it's starting. And I said, what were the pyramids, when were they built? 3,000 years ago? All we have to do is go 3,000 light years out in space, take this telescope, aim it back at Cairo, and we can watch them build the pyramids.
See, I like this.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm lost.
I love this.
And I got a look from her, and I said, I'm going to drop this conversation.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
I just love that she's giving you looks of like, it's finally happening. It's really hit now.
I got to stay healthy so I can take care of him. But, my sweet queen will get up in the morning, she'll look out at the beach. She said, it's getting smaller.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and sand erosion, I hope she's talking about. Anyway.
But that's typical of any beach community. There's a reason why you have to rebuild the beaches on a every several seasons basis.
Just
bring more sand.
Yeah, don't stop that music. I got something I want to tell.
You better hold on.
Jerry's already
He's a stickler.
On
vacation.
He is trigger happy over there.
So anyway, we've been hearing forever and ever that the sea levels are rising, okay? They're rising at twice the historic level, 3 times the historic level. There's a Dutch engineer, and the Dutch have some real cause to be concerned about sea level rise. A Dutch engineer, Hessel Voortman, and another researcher, they finally did some work. They said, look, all of this talk about sea level rising due to climate change has been from computer-generated models. Models here, models there. Let's go out and do some actual measurements. So they reviewed actual data on 150,000 coastal locations around the planet to see if the sea level rise was, as bad as they say it is. And over the last 100 years, they determined that sea levels have risen by just a couple of inches, and that's it. And all of this stuff about New York is going to be underwater, Miami's going to be underwater. This is the first ever real study of sea level rise, totally refuting all of these claims about rising seas are going to start burying islands and cities around the world.
That's right. None of that's going to happen until the asteroid hits.
The sweet asteroid of death.
Yeah. When that happens, yes.
Then it causes a big tidal wave. Is that what we're looking at?
I saw the documentary.
I'll be with Elon on Mars.
Okay, well, then there you go. Neil Bortz, the talk master, making waves on the show, making people mad.
The asteroid is being piloted, by the way. It's out there.
Hey, we'll get into that next week because we got some time before that thing is getting a little closer and goes around the sun.
Yeah.
I love that Neil pays attention to this, too. Thank you, Neil Bortz.
Y'all be good.
Neil Bortz, the talk master.
Next week from North Georgia.
That's right. That's right. Good travels. Safe travels. It'll be a good time to have you here in town. When we come back, Brian Stelter is concerned about the blatant racism he sees in the Charlotte murder coverage. Next on Extra.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and a very special event they have going on. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and Howard Brothers is going gold. All month long, Howard Brothers is partnering with Cure Childhood Cancer Organization, and they're raising money to support the life-saving research and assistance that Cure provides across the state of Georgia. So join the fight. Next time you're at one of the Howard Brothers locations, any one of them, you can donate to help cure childhood cancer. Together, we can bring hope and healing to families $1 at a time. Howard Brothers, where caring for our community is always in season.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, September 9th. The college football weekend is going to be a big one around these parts. First off, Georgia Tech will host Clemson on Saturday afternoon. That's going to be a noon kickoff. Clemson has been installed as a 9.5-point favorite. As for Georgia, they're on the road to open up SEC play in Knoxville as they play Tennessee. That's going to be the 3:30 kickoff on Saturday. Georgia currently a 3.5-point favorite in that ball game. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves back in the win column after a 4-1 win last night over the visiting Chicago Cubs at Truist Park. Game 2 of the series is set for tonight. It'll be Spencer Strider against Cade Horton on the mound. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
When you think of home security, what do you imagine? An alarm that blares after the intruder trips a sensor, catching the attention of a neighbor, if you're lucky. A monitoring agent who calls to make sure you're safe, but only after your feeling of safety at home has been shattered. The problem with most security systems is they only take action once the break-in has begun, and then it's too late. Simply Safe is different. It's designed to be proactive, not reactive. And here's how. With ActiveGuard outdoor protection, smart AI-powered cameras identify threats lurking outside the home and immediately alert Simply Safe SimpliSafe's professional monitoring agents. Now, these agents intervene in real time before the break-in even begins. That's real security. SimpliSafe continues to innovate, and this is a great example of how AI can make our lives better. With a 60-day money-back guarantee, no long-term contracts, SimpliSafe earns its business by keeping customers safe and satisfied every single day. So get 50% off your new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/Beck. That's simplisafe.com/Beck. There is no safe like SimpliSafe.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Hey Atlanta Braves fans, this is Kelly Kroll asking you to step up to the plate for the men and women who have served our country and protected our freedom. The Warrior Alliance, an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, is helping thousands of veterans to achieve success after military service. Either you or someone you know has served and deserves our support. The best way to say thank you for your service is by helping a veteran round the bases on their journey home. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
The only thing better than covering all these Trump wins is watching the left implode over it.
Donald Trump, he's entertaining the world while he's changing the whole freaking planet.
Extra 106.3 is committed to bring you the news you care about most. From Atlanta legends and conservative voices you've relied on for a generation. Proud to be Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
The murder in Charlotte has really gotten people talking about the crime that is going unpunished, mental illness that is going untreated. But I did not expect to see someone make this an issue the way that Brian Stelter did. Brian is concerned about the blatant racism, Los, that he sees in the coverage of this case in Charlotte, or this murder in Charlotte.
And as much as we've talked about it in the way that we have, let's just take that, kind of put it in a box, move it on over here, because it's a tragedy and it's what it is. The left cannot stand the discussion about enhanced law enforcement, more law enforcement, and that we should have a higher standard of living when it comes to being in our cities. That's the discussion point they can't stand. And so the left only has a couple tools to make you stop. Like, for instance, Tug, if I need you to stop talking about, I don't know, you want to talk about, hey, I'm not sure that my school board's doing the right thing. I'm going to say, well, do you have a problem with it because you're sexist, because there's a lot of women on the school board?
Well, no, I just don't like the decisions.
You kind of come across as sexist.
Well, but no, that's the point. Their decisions are terrible.
Why do you hate women?
Yeah, I don't hate women. I'm just that's the argument.
That's the goal.
Exactly.
So right. It either has to be sexism or racism. Right. There's got to be an ism as to why to get you to stop. So take a listen. I don't know. How does this man have a job on CNN? Wasn't he fired?
Yes.
Like 3 or 4 years ago?
We joked about it earlier. Who was the person who was like, I have the perfect plan. Let's get Brian Stelter back.
Stelter is, first off, in an era where we kind of started moving away further and further from the guy who does not sound like he's very manly. Like, I was like, we're going in the right direction. Like, you turn loose Don Lemon. At least Anderson Cooper, you're like, all right, Anderson, at least you portray yourself as like, that's a journalist.
Yeah. Even though he's full of it.
Right.
At least he sure has to play the game.
But at least is playing the game.
Yeah.
It's like, give me the indication that like, I kind of think who this is. When Brian Stelter starts talking, it's like an immediate turn off for me. It's just way too lady man. Totally. So remember, all they're trying to do is stop the discussion that you deserve a higher standard of living if you're living in these cities, that you should have better law enforcement, you should have safer streets, you should be able to go walk down to your corner store and not worry about being mugged or robbed or butchered to death. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about getting on MARTA and what you have to deal with. Here's him on CNN last night trying to make sure to deflect as hard as possible.
Right, most murders in the U.S. never become national news. This one's garnered attention for a couple of reasons. Number one, first and foremost, the recent release of that gruesome video. Second, the energy from pro-Trump activists. They picked up on this video from local news and ran with it. It's a little bit like the times when civil rights groups have raised attention about police-involved shootings. In this case, it is Trump-aligned influencers who are posting up a storm about this case on social media. Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime. We heard President Trump asked about it yesterday when he was heading home from New York City. He didn't seem to know much about it. He said he would get briefed, and then today Trump did know all about it. That's exactly what has happened here. This story has trickled up from local news to social media and now to the president's attention, and it's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol, with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration. I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist.
Okay. It took quite a while for it to be racist.
Well, look, I wrote down a few of these. MAGA's fault.
MAGA's fault.
Video's fault.
You paid attention, so that must mean not only you're MAGA, but racist as well.
That's right. Video's fault. The influencer's fault for bringing this up, for pointing it out and bringing attention to it. Then ultimately Trump, it's Trump's fault because he got briefed. You had to blame him for that. And then racism. That's ultimately where he drove to, but that was the order of operation.
Kind of like it's like having to hit every little note, right?
Like checking a whole lot of boxes, making sure.
Rather than, let's have the bigger discussion. Don't you deserve a higher standard of living despite the fact that you're living in a city?
Let me answer the question for you. Yes. The answer is yes.
Because I know what happens every single time I walk out to my mailbox. Nothing. I know when I walk into my Publix. Nothing. I know when I went to dinner with my in-laws. Nothing. Shouldn't you have the same standard of living as I do?
Yes, you should. You absolutely should.
Regardless of your economic scenario? Yeah, you should.
Without a doubt. They do not see it that way. All right, when we continue, I love RFK Jr.'s description of his job. It's exactly what I voted for next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I've taken absolute delight in telling you about the rise of wokeism in schools across the country. It was over a year ago that I told you about the elite Westminster School in Atlanta. Around Christmas time, they were going to perform Handel's The Messiah. Some music teacher decided that a little woke instruction or indoctrination was necessary to go along with this show. So he informed everybody that they should listen to the Messiah, knowing that Handel, way back then, actually invested in a company that made slave ships. Oh, the humanity. Now wokeism has spread to math. Math instruction in state schools. California, of course, has now adopted a new math curriculum to make sure that math is culturally relevant for all students. You know, equity. Now, how do you do this? Okay, here's an example of woke math education. You tell the students that a garden has been planted 12 yards by 10 yards. They're supposed to tell you how many square yards the garden is, but that's not all. They also, in solving the problem, have to discuss where the garden came from. Is it on stolen land? What is it growing? Is the food going to be used to help feed the poor and the disadvantaged? Who owns the garden? Is it privately owned or owned by the community? If it is stolen land, tell us about the Native Americans that used to live there. This, in many state schools, is the new mathematics education. Yet you send your kids there, right? Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I've learned a lot about this car buying process from you. Is that typical of most of the clients you've worked with?
Yeah, I'm finding out it's even more typical. I mean, people are learning more and more, and maybe it's because I overload them with information because I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to make sure you know everything.
Do I have to have a particular make and model in mind when I call you, or is it just open to anything I want?
It's open. I can get any make, any year, any model.
I might be looking to trade in my vehicle. Can you accommodate that as the honest car guy?
For sure. I mean, we love it when people want to trade in cars because honestly, it's best for you to trade in a car. Why? Because you get a tax savings.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the honest car guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
It's called Operation Midway Blitz. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A new illegal immigration crackdown launched in Illinois that the Department of Homeland Security says is in honor of Katie Abraham, who was killed in January in a drunk driving crash blamed on a driver here in the U.S. illegally. Her father, Joe, supports the operation targeting criminal aliens, telling Fox,
I love the terms I keep hearing. Families are separated. Children are being taken or parents are being taken. My daughter was taken. We are separated. I will never see her again.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, a Democrat, says he's concerned about potential militarized immigration enforcement without due process, accusing ICE of violating detainees' human rights. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is calling dangerous a Supreme Court ruling that allows the Trump administration to resume illegal immigration raids in Southern California, lifting a block by a judge who'd called the raids unconstitutional, targeting people in part based on race. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley tells Fox that's not true.
They use what's called reasonable suspicion, and that includes work sites. It includes other types of activities that they see, like if people are fleeing when they see an ICE agent or they see a Border Patrol agent. It includes all kinds of factors.
Israel has ordered an evacuation for all of Gaza's city, where about 1 million Palestinians live, as it escalates the war against Hamas, taking out high-rise buildings that Israel says are housing Hamas infrastructure and surveillance. At least 21 people are dead in another Russian attack in the Ukraine war, 21 others injured.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky announced the strike, showing video of bodies scattered on the ground, killed by a glide bomb fitted with pop-out wings and satellite navigation. He says the bomb hit older civilians waiting to collect pension payments in the village of Yorova in eastern Ukraine, the Donetsk region, where Ukraine says Russia has 100,000 troops ready for a new offensive.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. Ryan Ruth will soon return to a federal court in Florida, acting as his own lawyer, as jury selection resumes to put Ruth on trial, charged in the second Trump assassination attempt last year. America's listening to...
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Coffee, keys, and extra 106.3. That's how I get to work and home.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Xtra. We're working out ways to hopefully get me feeling better.
I've suggested a hydration IV bag,
which I have just signed up for.
Flush your system. You can just go in and do your 30 minutes. Now, you will feel like Iron Man. You're going to feel amazing. But if you keep up what you've been doing, all of this hardcore bourbon, you will be right back to wherever you were Saturday afternoon at the game.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because the crash, when it hits, you're like, oh.
Yeah, right. You don't, so after you feel like Iron Man, you crash?
If you continue doing what you were doing beforehand.
Oh, which I'm not going to.
Okay, then you'll feel fine.
I'm gonna, good.
But a big thing out in Vegas, people will go. They'll go hard, and then as soon as they wake up in the morning,
hydrate.
they'll hit one of the spas and
get an
one
IV
of those
bag.
IVs.
Yeah,
and they have a flu version.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm going for.
My daughter got that version. She'd been dealing with a head cold for about 2 or 3 days. It actually knocked her out of school. And so we got a bag into her because she deals with POTS and hydration issues. And that thing, she was back at practice the next day, back at school the next day, volleyball the day after. It was right back to normal.
Well, I'm hoping I'll get these guys lined up, and I will be in that same situation.
And you can text me, and you'll say, I feel like Iron Man.
Thank you, Dr. Medina. I feel like Iron Man.
I did think about one the other day when I was not feeling well last week. I was like, man, maybe I just go and just get it. But I was already starting to kind of clear it a little bit.
Yep.
I think you're right in that tough point when the bag would do a great thing for you.
I'm going to give it a roar. So I just signed up for their first time customer. So I don't know what that means, but
they'll give a little discount and everything else,
sure.
and then But then the nice part is you can always just register right on your computer, and they've got a couple different locations. I just know that you have to have a registered nurse. And because of my daughter having issues with hydration, we have a registered nurse who does mobile IV in Orlando. We have one in Dallas.
You got a network.
We have a network. They didn't have one in D.C., which that was a little bit of a challenge. And by the way, in D.C., I found one who would be like, yeah, we can come out and do it. I'm like, what do y'all charge for a bag? Like $400.
Good Lord.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, we're used to spending like $100 a bag.
Yeah.
Like 80 to 100, 120 if you're loading it up.
And I'm willing to spend $100 to feel better. I mean, that's because if you go to the doctor and they prescribe you something that's going to take another day for you to feel better, and it's still going to be $65 or $70.
I'm telling you, they're going to plug you, and within 30 minutes, you're going to be like, ooh, okay.
Let's go.
Like flushing the system.
That's what I want. And so I've been reading about the description of what they do and, all the different...
You'd be amazed what B12 makes you feel like when you get in that form.
Get you the Myers cocktail. That's what they call it. Got all kind of nutrients in there, your B12, everything.
The magnesium, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting something similar, except his has like a infusion of extra vitamin C, from what I understand.
Yes, that's what I'll take. Because vitamin C is good. Vitamin C is your friend.
Because vitamin C is good.
I can just see Tug
feel better.
In the chair, feet up, getting his IV, bourbon in hand.
No.
Nice.
Dude. Because that's going to dehydrate me. I don't want to do that.
I've seen it on bachelor parties where guys will just be sitting there with a beer, plugged up, getting their fluids.
I did this in Biloxi 2020. I was with a handful of friends. Shout out to the Bynums. After the first bag, the nurses, because we were in their suite, and she's like, does anyone need to use the restroom? And none of us did. And she's like, well, I guess everybody needs another bag. And sure enough, so then we all got a second bag. By the time, now we were drinking and did a podcast and we're watching the Georgia-Florida game. By the time those 2 bags wore off, because of how much I'd consumed, I was right back to where I felt the night before.
Oh, no.
I had to go back up to my room and go to bed. I totally missed the Clemson-Notre Dame game that went to double overtime.
No way.
And when I woke up, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I went downstairs and all the guys were still up.
Wow.
Because their bags, they didn't go as hard as early. So you're going to feel great. Just don't go hard at all.
No, I'm not going to go. That's exactly right, dude. I want nothing to do with anything except feeling better. Anything that even approaches making you feel bad, I'm not in favor.
Give yourself 48 hours of just good rest.
Yeah, that's right.
Until this Saturday.
Yeah.
Bulldogs get back on the field.
Let me tell you, especially going into Tennessee, going into Knoxville.
They're going to need you.
Yeah, no kidding. They're going to need me sitting on that couch pulling loudly. I mean, because I feel like, me screaming at the TV will probably do something.
Might put them over the top, yes.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. It'll send them good vibes or some sort of good spirit, good energy. Probably not.
Hey, if you can enjoy the game and not have to feel bad, that's the goal.
I would just like to enjoy work and not feel bad.
So this would have been the 2017 season, 2018 national championship game. My wife and I had gone to the Rose Bowl.
Oh, my gosh.
Georgia beats Oklahoma.
Best college football game of all time. I've heard you say that.
Incredible game. We then get back to the house. And remember, it's like a quick turnaround. It's like 7 days later, Georgia's going to play Alabama for the national championship. And that particular night was the first night where my wife had flu symptoms and started to get sick. And she got the flu. And so we had poured her one bourbon. I mean, she's a crown drinker when it comes to Georgia games. She barely touched it.
Yeah.
She barely touched it. And as Tua Tagovailoa throws the touchdown pass to end it, my wife gets up from the couch in the basement. Oh, no, she left the drink alone.
Oh, really?
She goes, F football, I'm done with it for this year. And she walked upstairs. And the funny part was the next day is when you had the Minnesota Vikings and New Orleans Saints, that crazy play where they make the Hail Mary pass and it scores and it beats the Saints in the playoffs. And I asked her, I was like, did you see what happened last night? She's like, no, I told you, football, I'm done with it. So it took 2021 and 2022 to bring her back in.
Get her back in the fold. Well, I'm glad she's back. How's she feel about Georgia, Tennessee? Good?
Yeah, I think she's up for it. I mean, I did watch her. For anyone who remembers 2016 when you had the Hail Marys back-to-back in Athens.
Yep.
If you survived that and now you got the payoff, you're all right.
Yeah, no, I actually feel decent about the game. My son, not so much. My wife, not so much. I'm like, it's okay.
If you play defense and you run the football,
we're going to be okay. Yeah, we're going to be just
This feels like what happened this would have been the 2017-2018 season. And again, Tennessee was in a different place. But Georgia, when they showed up in Knoxville behind Jake Fromm, it was, we're going to run the football down your throat and we're going to play defense. And that's
a recipe for winning right there.
That's what wins in the conference. Typically what wins in the conference on the road.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was looking at RFK and a statement that he had made, and he basically laid it out. He said, this is what my job description is. He was like, I want to get rid of those people that did all the things that drive you crazy looking back during COVID. Listen to this.
We literally we're the worst team in the league. I've been brought in as the new manager, and my job is to shake up the organization, to fire the people who were responsible for masking our children with no science, for social distancing orders with no science.
Yeah. That's the guy I want. I love the fact, because it almost has a little bit of a sports feel to it, coming off of a sports conversation. He was like, I'm the manager of the new team. I'm going to shake this organization up. We're going to rebuild.
I'm going to be as honest as possible. Based on what happened in 2020, 2021, if the CDC did not do what they're doing now with HHS and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., if it was just the next person in line, the CDC could send an alert to my phone telling me that there is a flesh-eating virus, there's Ebola, here's what's coming.
Screw worms.
You need to get inside right now and stay inside. And you know what I would do? I'd go to the bar.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what Georgia game are we going to?
Yeah, exact opposite.
That's
nobody trusts them.
That's what they're having to do. They have to reestablish the trust within the organization that when the CDC does sound the alarm and blow the whistle, we're back to actually listening to them. Because social distancing was a lie. The number that was discussed was 10 feet.
They're like, we can't get people to do that.
They're like, we can't do people with elevators in 10 feet. Let's do 6 feet.
What do you think?
Based on what science? There was none.
Well, we don't need science. We just tell people what to do.
The cloth mask, the paper mask, none of it was effective. In fact, you were more likely to end up getting an infection because you were sitting there breathing your own crap all day.
And the people that cut holes in their mask to play instruments.
A joke.
It's the dumbest thing.
So how do you reestablish the trust? I think RFK
Transparency is how you do it.
Yeah, and he's saying the right things. I have to be the manager of the team. The team failed you. Does the team have talent? Yeah. Does the team have resources? Yeah. How do we get people to trust again? You got to point out, as he said to Congress, as he pointed out to the Senate subcommittee, what we know, what we don't know. Full transparency.
Yeah.
You don't get it,
that's right. It's just like rebuilding a baseball team. When you have to, like, we're tearing it down, we're shipping the players that you like out, and they're gone because we have to tear it down to the studs. The difference is I didn't like anybody at the CDC anyway, so it didn't matter. I didn't have any.
Let me get this straight. You got rid of a sadist.
Yes.
Who's really into taking very provocative homosexual pictures.
Yeah, thank you.
And that person is who the other side marched out all week to be like, I'm the counter to RFK Jr.
Every show. He was on every show.
It's like, seriously, you're going to be the guy who's talking about how you should be giving the hepatitis B vaccine to babies when, if you know about what the information is, Why am I worrying about sexual...
Unless it's in a prostitution situation.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Why am I worried about a sexually oriented disease with a two-day-old baby?
Because he's hoping nobody knows. He's expecting nobody knows, and he can just tell you anything.
The longest time, that's how the CDC is operating.
That's exactly right.
Nobody knows. RFK Jr. is starting with, let's give the people the information.
Yeah, let's be transparent.
So now you understand what our thinking is here. And just as he told Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, he told her, I'm not recommending a particular product, treatment, vaccine that doesn't have a study of efficacy. That we should have enough of that. That's one of the lingering issues of COVID that now is all across our medical field. A lot of people don't trust doctors because you did not give us informed consent on many things we had available and one of the things that were going on.
And what would make you think somebody would trust you after they've been shown over and over again that you've lied every time? There's still people saying how great the vaccine is. There's still, those leftists that are telling you what wonders it does. And then they would lie to you and tell you can't get it if you want it, which is another thing that is insane to hear.
A study from the Cleveland Clinic, just released in the last 48 hours, shows the more COVID boosters you get, the more likely you are to get COVID. That's, again, from the Cleveland Clinic. That's not me.
Yeah,
that's not Los making it up. That's just the newest information that, once again, says the same thing that we kind of already had an idea of.
Which is exactly what we want. We want those people that have no power politically to gain to speak to me. That's the people that I care about hearing from. That's the people that I want to hear from. I'm so tired of hearing from people that go on shows on national television and tell me one thing, and then behind closed doors and emails say something completely different. And we have a record of that.
I think that was what stuck out so much last Thursday when RFK Jr. was in front of the Senate, was that you could so easily tell who was bought and paid for and who knew so very little of what they were talking about. That this man who isn't a doctor has created an expert status on himself based on reading and paying attention and doing all the studies. And all you had were senators sitting there who'd been prepped by their staffers to ask this question.
And you would see
create this viral moment.
Passing the papers.
A yes or no question. That's not a yes or no question. Yes or no.
Raphael Warnock led the first thing I heard with him. I want you to answer yes or no. So you're telling me you don't want context to this conversation?
So we're not creating a contextual situation.
That's exactly right.
For the guy who has now taken, next to Bernie Sanders, the second most amount of money from Big Pharma.
Huge surprise.
And Bernie's
way to go, Georgia. Thanks for voting for him.
Bernie's been there 30 years. Warnock caught him in the span of 4 years?
Yeah. He's like, I'll see you and raise you.
That's all it took. Crazy. It took him basically 4 years to catch what Bernie Sanders did in 30 in terms of money from Big Pharma.
At some point, Bernie may have had, a
little bit of scruples.
Yes, maybe.
Until after, in my opinion, 2016.
We know Warnock has had none. I mean, it is so well documented just how rotten that dude is. And dude, far be it for me to ask somebody to be perfect as a Christian man myself, but at least try. At least feel like you're trying.
The stories I have heard, the personal stories I have heard, where it's how bad of a dude is this guy, they're outstanding. It's I'm not going to share them, but what I will tell you is the personal stories that Tug and I have gotten wind of always said the same thing. The wife was awesome. The one you see on video says he's a really good actor. He's the bad dude.
Yeah. And I believe that. There's nothing in me that doesn't believe that. There's nothing in me, or there's nothing been presented to me otherwise that's painted it in another direction with any sort of credibility that would say, well, you're wrong about this and here's why. None of that.
Yeah.
That I can tell, no one's even tried to cover for him.
Yeah.
Because all the things that they accused Herschel Walker of, and I'm not trying to relitigate that race, whether Herschel was the right guy or not, but they had the same crimes. Or the same flaws, I should say. They had all the same flaws. And we elected him anyway.
Well, so that's why, as it stands right now, John Ossoff is the most vulnerable senator, and I think you're going to end up taking that seat. It's really just a matter of who it's going to be. And who gets and that's going to be something as we get into the better part of the end of this year into early next year. Who's going to get the Trump kiss? Because as long as he's doing well, that's going to matter.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
And does that mean that him and Brian Kemp are on the same page? I don't know.
That's going to be. So far it looks like they've, they've
gone to their own corners. It's not a fight any longer.
Yeah, it seems like they're. I don't know that they go have beers together.
No.
Like you and I go to good old days.
Yeah,
I don't know that they do that.
I don't think that they do that. And then it turns to the next year when as we get to 2028. Now you start looking over at, all right, how do you turn Georgia back to a place that has 2 Republican senators?
That is our job. That is the job of you listening right now. We got to get it done because it's our community, it's our neighborhood, it's our state that they will cut up and rule the way that they see fit, which is never good for you and I. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta Carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, we need to hold these rogue judges accountable for their actions. Next at Extra.
When conflicts escalate around the world, don't let the mainstream media scare you into believing their narrative. Get it right with Atlanta's only conservative voice. And trust the Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, and our entire lineup to give it to you straight. Don't buy the fear. Just keep it here. Extra 106.3 FM and the all-new Extra app.
Good morning, it's Los, and I hope we're friends. I consider us friends. I think we're kind of cool like that. I want to tell you about another friend. That's Tom, the Honest Car Guy, honestcarguy.com. Now, one of the things that I do consider has been pretty cool is those of you who've reached out to me and said, hey, I called the phone number. Tom picked up. It's like, yeah, I know. It's his company. That's what Tom does as the Honest Car Guy. You can reach out over online, honestcarguy.com, or give Tom a call, 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1. What happens? Well, you just have to have a make and model in mind, and Tom goes to work on your behalf from there. This is a man who's run multiple dealerships in the state of Georgia. He's been in the car game a long time. He knows how all of it works. And when it comes to securing your next vehicle, as Tom likes to joke around, 1960 to 2025, if it's in the country, he's going to find it for you, and he's going to find it for the price that you're looking for. And he's going to give you the bill of sale. That is what the purchase price has to be in order to get that vehicle underneath his wing. And at that point, he's basically going to do the transaction with you. And what do you owe him? The Honest Car Guy fee. So you will know exactly what the money is going to be, the exchange, when it comes to that particular vehicle, and you're going to save thousands in the process. I've done all the research on it. I've got a 14-year-old in the house. She's going to be turning 15 soon. We're going to be adding another car. I will be doing this with Tom because I know we're going to save thousands of dollars in the transaction. Trade-ins are available, or financing. That's available too. He's got some of the best banks in the area working with him. Again, honestcarguy.com, or give Tom a call, 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All 4 Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All 4 Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
When I first started using a CPAP, getting supplies and equipment was a horrible hassle. It pretty much stayed that way until I discovered cpapsetcetera.com. Same-day shipping on anything you might need, including travel CPAPs, hoses, masks, you name it. Same-day shipping. cpapsetc.com or visit their store in Alpharetta. So easy, and you could be preserving your health and saving your life.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretired.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Veterans across Braves country are returning to our communities and need a trusted resource to navigate life beyond military service. The Warrior Alliance is expanding our impact and needs your support to change thousands of lives for the better. This is Kelly Kroll, and I'm inviting you to join us for an exciting benefit dinner, followed by an Atlanta Braves private event on Friday, September 12th to support veterans and their families. Special guests include powerful veteran testimonies and five-time All-Star Andrew Jones. Tickets are on sale now at thewarrioralliance.org.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Tuesday, September 9th. A suspected high-ranking cartel member was detained in Atlanta after being extradited from Mexico to face federal charges. Roberto Lopez, also known as Shrek, is an alleged lieutenant in the Sinaloa cartel and was hiding out in Mexico for the past 10 years. He's accused of smuggling tons of cocaine and hundreds of guns across the border to Atlanta and Memphis. He faces life in prison. Cobb County police have identified a victim in a cold case dating back to 1984. Her body remained unidentified for decades after it was found near the Chattahoochee River. Recent advanced DNA testing led the police to identify the victim as Jane Miller of Mableton. She would have been 61 years old. The case is still under active investigation. And police are searching for teens in East Cobb after a fight at Waffle House broke out Saturday night. Staff said the teens were asked to leave several times, and a video of the fight that went viral on social media showed the teens jumping over the counter and fighting employees at the location on Sandy Springs Road just after 2 a.m. Detectives are working to identify all involved. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com is the website.
Or you got to fight at Waffle House.
Was that what that was? I was just saying they got a fight at Waffle House?
Yeah, over there on Sandy Plains.
Good Lord.
And you got involved in fighting the actual staff?
That's nuts, man.
Have you seen the video?
No.
They hopped over the counter, got back there, and one of them's got one of the cooks in a headlock.
Oh my God.
Police are looking for him now, trying to identify all involved.
Waffle House fights. Oh my gosh.
Oh, now that's a whole YouTube channel there.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of that stuff.
I mean,
Did you find it, Lowe's?
I can see, like, okay, people have a scrap in the, somebody says something to somebody, it's middle of the night, people are, that's not unheard of at Waffle House, but attacking the staff.
Yeah, I
got a problem with that.
Yeah, it seems excessive. I mean, what could the Waffle House staff have done to you? I mean, they're cooking eggs, man.
The fight does seem quite excessive.
But, yeah, I hope they find them. I hope they punish them. But that's the problem. Who you find them? The police do the hard work finding people that have broken the law, and then judges don't do anything about it, or they give them a little slap on the wrist and they're back out on the streets. Now, obviously, I mean, it's not a capital offense to get in a fight at a Waffle House, but you still need to have some sort of punishment, because if you don't, then you'll do it again.
Well, you're not being raised right.
Well, there's definitely that. I mean, a lot of that comes down.
And if you're out at 2 o'clock in the morning doing this,
yeah. What's the old saying? Nothing good happens after midnight.
Yeah. This is the third stop. Remember what I told you?
Yeah.
There's the first stop. The first stop is fine.
Oh,
you can go out anywhere you want. This is a lesson to everyone out there. I learned this years ago. Again, shout out to David and Paul Bynum. They were right. The first stop, not a problem. Go meet your friend at a bar, go to the ballpark, totally cool, not a problem. Second stop, still not an issue. You finished up at the game, you're going to meet with your friends, you're done at the golf course, you want to go grab a beer afterwards, hit the 19th hole, go to some place to get a bite to eat, cool. Second stop, not a problem. Third stop is the issue.
Yeah, that's when things go south.
Third stop. You can't even order hash browns without getting in a fight.
Clearly. Because that's what happens.
Because this is third stop right here.
Yeah, it's a third
There's no
stop
doubt
night.
this is third stop.
Goodness.
At that hour, you've already been to your 2.
Yep.
Go home. No third stops. Third stops, bad things happen.
Just listen to Front Office Lowe's. He will give you the rules of life that will keep you out of fights at Waffle House.
No third stops. It'll keep your marriage together.
Yeah.
It'll keep you from catching a case. You will not have any problems as long as you don't make the third stop. At least, not consistently. Maybe every now and then, you and a couple of your friends, and all right, let's do this. But third stops are a bad idea.
Yeah, just avoid them at all costs. That as soon as I heard that, when Los brought this up, as soon as I heard it, I was like, that's exactly right. I'm not a third stop guy anyway, so I've never run into the third stop issue.
I'm one stop.
Yeah, dude, me too, most of the time.
Like today, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law are in town. They've never been to NOFO as far as the brewing company.
Yeah, North Side.
Yeah, let's go take them up there. It'll be nice.
Cool spot.
The weather's good. It's nice and cool outside. Let's go sit outside and have some patio drinks.
Love it.
No, that'd be the first stop.
That's right.
All right.
Second stop would be home.
Second stop would be home. But if we even went and grabbed some food, that's the second stop.
That's right.
There's no third stop.
That's right.
Third stop bad.
I want to tell you about what Congressman Randy Fine said. Randy Fine is from Florida. He said, I'm going to introduce legislation to hold judges accountable when violent repeat offenders that they release commit new crimes. It's easy to release criminals when you're protected by an armed bailiff at all times. The rest of us aren't so lucky. Those 12 judges that released DeCarlo Brown Jr. should have their day in court too. Like we discussed earlier, I don't know how far this goes. I don't know how you pull this off, but I love the fact that he's forcing the discussion. He's talking about it, holding people accountable for their actions. And in the United States of America, you should be held accountable. DeCarlo Brown will finally be held accountable for his actions after he murdered someone. Dude's got a rap sheet as long as a CVS receipt. I mean, it's unreal.
The issue I take is that you're supposed to be accountable to when it comes to the voters.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that I don't believe enough voters, we don't have an issue in this country of, well, everybody who runs is a corrupt politician. There's a lot of that. What we have are dumb voters.
Yeah.
What we have are people that have not paid attention to the level that they need to. And so what ends up winning? It
almost seems like by design.
Yeah. Well, what ends up winning? Money.
Yes, always.
How much can I put my name out in front of you to where you say, oh, I recognize that name?
Unless it's Kamala Harris. She's the only asterisk.
Yeah, she's the $2 billion. We tried it all.
Yeah, didn't work.
It wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
But if I was to flood a marketplace with, let's say I'm looking to be a county magistrate, and I use $1 million and my name is everywhere, my policy really does not have to stand up to the rigors of an election.
It's all about name recognition.
And then I end up getting into the position as the communist I am, and I'm turning loose, these people onto the streets. And when you're saying, well, he needs to be held accountable, it's like, I was supposed to be. 6 months ago when I won that election.
Yeah.
You didn't do the work.
Yeah. And then, but, there's some judges that are appointed. I mean, they absolutely, they need to be held accountable. When they do this over and over again, it's like if somebody has too much to drink at the bar. And I've seen this happen at good old days when we go up there.
Oh, that's why they ask you.
Always ask, right?
She's like, hey.
Y'all good?
And that's where their stopping point is, because they're liable.
That's exactly right. And if you're going to hold a bartender liable, you're going to tell me you're going to hold the bartender liable, but you're not going to hold a judge liable for allowing somebody to commit 12 crimes, and then that 13th or 14th or whatever the number is for DeCarlo is murder. I feel like there has to be some accountability. How we get there, I can't pretend to know the answer, but I love the fact that Randy Fine is forcing the conversation.
I just don't believe we're ever going to see it occur in the way that it's actually novel when we have a parent that gets in trouble for the actions of their child. We've seen this more recently with school shooters.
Yeah, sure.
That the gun was not properly secured. The parent is going to face liability with this. That, I think, does make some sense. What we're asking in a lot of these cases is, well, you birthed the child, and the child decided to kill 10 people. You're at fault. Well, why? Because you gave birth to him.
Yeah, that's
the problem.
Yeah,
and that's what basically we're looking at judges and saying, you made a bad decision. Now, is it systemic of all the bad decisions you make? Yeah.
But if you see the pattern, that's the thing that I think we're asking people to look at is you have this pattern of releasing criminals the day after they've broken whatever law it is over and over and over again. We know they need to have some sort of mental health care. They're not. We know that they probably belong in jail. They're not going to jail. There has to be something. We can't just allow judges to continue to allow people like the woman in Charlotte just to be butchered for no reason.
What I would ask you is this, Tug. And again, I know I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
I know that you and I are much more aligned in this.
But that's good for conversation. I think it's important to do that.
But here's what I think is important when it comes to bringing up the other side. I think that if you were to talk to people like yourself and myself and say, should we be more stringent when it comes to setting bail amounts, bond amounts in order to be able to get out? And I think you and I would both be like, hell yeah. Like, well, why should that person have $600? Why should they have 10,000? Why is it not 100,000, 1 million? I think that's the sort of stuff that we would say.
Sure.
And while I think the community, because we've now seen this in D.C., largely enjoys having more police presence, have more presence on the street, keeping people safe. I think that if you start asking these communities what they think about cashless bail and bond, I think that there's going to be a lot different of what they're going to say in terms of, yeah, I don't have as much money. Why are you artificially keeping me in jail because I can't afford this? And that's where I believe these judges are a representation of the communities they represent.
I would like to believe that.
That's what I believe is going on.
I think it's more political. I think.
Well, of course, because think about this. Is it wild? And I guess I have to make it in these terms. If I was to say, Tug and I both now drive great new trucks. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, that's awesome. Our truck payments are $2,000 a month. We would say, well, that's the cause and effect of what goes on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think the issue is that you have these people that really enjoy the security that they want to have within their communities, but that security enhancement means you keep people in prison longer. And I don't think they want to make that connection. They'd rather have cashless bail available, and yet they're still asking for additional security. That's like, these don't go together. Like my $100 truck payment and my brand new truck don't go together.
Those don't equate. No, I see that, but I do believe that it's more of people who have been elected to office that are back. Because I brought this up earlier. I'd seen, I think it was last night, where 1 in 5 Americans are covered by a DA that's George Soros funded and was elected by George Soros. So automatically, 1 in 5 people in America are going to be under the jurisdiction of a judge who is going to allow somebody to walk out of jail because that's their political beliefs. It's more about undermining the American system than it is keeping people safe.
Can I play you a piece of audio of what things used to sound like in 1989?
Yes.
All right, so this is...
89 was a good year.
This is a flashback. All right, this ends up being a much more lucid, as you'll pay attention to, a Joe Biden. And I just want you to think about what has happened in 30 years. Because realistically, when you look at the course of history, our country, because it's so young, makes like big jumps over 30 years.
Yeah.
Like what we were in the 20s versus what we were in the 50s. All right, at this point, we've already now been through 2 world wars. We're now the dominant presence in society. By the time we go from 1950 to 1980, we're on the moon. We have basically moved on from transistor technology. We're now at a completely different place. We're on the cusp of having the internet. From 1980 to now 2020, look at all the jumps we've had there.
And then what it'll look like in 2060.
But it's hard to imagine that the view of one party when it comes to crime has altered this much in 30 years, being that a lot of people on our side, there's still a faction of Reagan Republicans. of let's make sure we have a strong defense. Let's make sure we have a vibrant economy. Let's make sure we keep taxes low and regulations low, and this is what it'll do. That's been 40 years of being prevalent. All right, now let's take a listen to what, when it came to crime and punishment and some of the ways we have to handle some of the threats to society, this is what Joe Biden was saying in 1989.
To put it in very personal terms for a moment, Joe Biden, me, I would settle for a world in which I could worry about the same kinds of things that my parents worried about, in which I only had to worry about the grades my children got in school rather than the drugs they're being exposed to, in which I only had to worry about the prices my wife had to pay at the supermarket instead of fearing that she might get mugged by a junkie in the parking lot as she loads her groceries into the car, in which tonight I could call my mom just to wish her pleasant dreams, not for the purpose of making sure she's safe in her own home. That's the kind of world I want. That's the kind of world you deserve. In a nutshell, the president's plan doesn't include enough police officers to catch the violent thugs, not enough prosecutors to convict them, not enough judges to sentence them, and not enough prison cells to put them away for a long time. We disagree with the president's decision to cut back on our previous commitment to protect against drugs coming across the border, to cut the Customs Service, the Coast Guard, and the Border Patrol. We think we should do more to stem the flow of drugs across our borders, and we think we should go one step further. Let's go after the drug lords where they live, with an international strike force. There must be no safe haven for these narco-terrorists, and they must know it. And we don't have to promise a world without worry or fear. We're not asking for that much. All we have to do, together, is to keep our promises and stay together. Thank you.
That's 2 minutes that sounds exactly like what we have going on today and the direction we're going, and the Democrats fighting you that hard on it. That's the State of the Union address and the response to it.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounded like a response to a State of the Union. When now the Democrats are complaining that we blew a drug boat out of the water.
Yeah.
Now the Democrats are saying, no, we don't want police officers on the street. Absolutely not. We're defund. Yeah, absolutely. So for them to go completely 180 it should be surprising, but it's not when you understand what their goal is.
And when we talked about cashless bail, and these people being right back out on the street 14 times, 6 times. There's just a number of these people, all these stories have somebody right back out on the street. What was Joe Biden saying in 1989? Bigger prosecutors, judges, and places to put these people away for a long time.
Yeah. And now them and their entire party and their George Soros-backed DAs have decided we don't want any of that. We want to erode. Do you think at some point that they didn't hate America? Because I know they do now.
I think things moved in such a direction from the Barack Obama presidency moving forward that it really turned from the party of the Clintons, which is what it was. It was the party of the Clintons. The Clintons were the royalty of the Democrat Party. And it turned into this Chicago-style black separation theology, black liberation theology, and it just offshot into this alternate form of social democratism, communism, that they cannot seem to put that toothpaste like back in the bottle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Because it couldn't sound more different than 1989.
And it's not been that long ago.
And by the way, that Clinton-era politics, when it came to crime, who do you think that crime bill came under?
Yeah.
They couldn't be further from it now.
Goodness gracious. When we continue, Donald Trump calls out the vaccine terrorists. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to Extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, September 9th. The college football weekend is going to be a big one around these parts. First off, Georgia Tech will host Clemson on Saturday afternoon. That's going to be a noon kickoff. Clemson has been installed as a 9.5-point favorite. As for Georgia, they're on the road to open up SEC play in Knoxville as they play Tennessee. That's going to be the 3:30 kickoff on Saturday. Georgia currently a 3.5-point favorite in that ball game. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves back in the win column after a 4-1 win last night over the visiting Chicago Cubs at Truist Park. Game 2 of the series is set for tonight. It'll be Spencer Strider against Cade Horton on the mound. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Fall is here, football is back, and so is the perfect time to celebrate with something unforgettable. From September 15th through the 21st, enjoy up to 60% off all bridal and fine jewelry in store during our big Percentage Week sale. As proud partners of the Georgia Bulldogs and Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, we know what it means to shine on game day and every day. But hurry, once an item is gone, it's gone. Visit any of our 3 locations, Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg, or book your private appointment now at SolomonBrothers.com for the best selection and service. Family owned, trusted for generations, and home to Georgia's largest selection of fine jewelry. Solomon Brothers Jewelers. Luxury, value, legacy. We will run out of the hottest items. Do book your appointment early and don't miss the Percentage Week, September 15th through 21st only. Solomon Brothers, where Georgia celebrates luxury, value, and legacy.
Experience luxury like never before behind the wheel of a brand new Cadillac from Jim Ellis Cadillac.
From the iconic Escalade to the innovative electric Lyric, Jim Ellis Cadillac offers the models you know and love, along with the latest in luxury EVs.
And the buying experience just as luxurious as the Cadillac name itself. With great prices, a great selection, and a team of knowledgeable sales associates, you'll love shopping at their showroom conveniently located on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter.
Prefer to shop from home? Visit JimEllisCadillac.com, where you can browse all the latest offers and even start or complete your entire purchase online with the Jim Ellis Expressway.
Want to try before you buy? Schedule an at-home test drive and enjoy the convenience of home vehicle delivery. Luxury is waiting. Experience it today at Jim Ellis Cadillac. Jim Ellis Cadillac, where you can always expect the best.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. Can I have your attention, please? I have an important announcement. Our president has a backbone. Thank you, President Trump, for standing up for the American people. We sleep better knowing our country is protected. And speaking of protection, criminals laugh when you purchase a fake safe from a big box store. There's no better time to visit Atlanta Safe House and see what a real safe looks like. But wait, there's more. Now through the end of the month, save hundreds of dollars on all Browning, Fort Knox safes and vault doors. Drop by one of our locations or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it hard to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Shannon Burke is back on the air in Atlanta. Well, sort of. He's live on The Kimmer Show every Thursday at 5 p.m.
There, Pete, yeah. His name's been floated, yeah, but no.
He got 0% polling from black people. Yeah. 0.
Black people are not going to vote for that guy. I'm sorry.
They'll vote for Buttigieg, but it'll be on the down low.
Yeah. Hey,
Atlanta's biggest conservative voices are only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra.
I need to defend my honor, if you don't mind.
Well, yes, please do.
So, my friend, Misamigo, good man, Braves Radio Network, Barrett Salee.
Love that guy.
He does the morning show over with our guys down the hall. And they had some sort of segment where he started bringing up our old days of men's rec league baseball here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I hear he was very complimentary of my pitching from back in the day.
Okay, good. So why the defending of the honor?
I think he also said he got a hit, and that's just not true.
Oh, see, Barrett, I can't believe he'd tell stories like that.
That's just what I heard. They were like, he was very complimentary of you. I was like, well, I appreciate that. And they're like, he also said that he got like 2 doubles. I'm like, that didn't happen.
That sounds very, very...
I know that didn't happen.
That sounds fake. That sounds like fake news. That sounds like... what is it when they intentionally tell you the wrong thing? Malinformation?
Well, no, that would be misinformation. Malinformation is true information that they just don't want you to have.
That's it. Yeah. So just
and that's not mal.
That's just pure old misinformation.
Like malinformation would be to Barrett if I was like, I struck you out like 3 times in like a game.
Yeah, right.
Like you just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, right.
You don't need it in
want
your
other
life.
people to know.
Now,
that's awesome.
I can go back to the video of when the Braves let us hit at Truist Park.
Dude.
And I'm just saying.
So much fun.
I'll let you see what I was doing. And then I challenge Barrett to show you what he's doing, and you wonder who got those hits.
Yeah, no doubt about it, dude. I
love Barrett, so I'm just glad he still brings it up every now and then. Back when we were all much more athletic,
dude, that's so much fun. And going over there and hitting at Truist Park,
that was so much fun,
dude. That was the coolest because we had just gone through COVID, what was that during? Was that 20 or 21?
So that was the 2020 season into 2021.
That's right.
What they had was the ability to go out. You would pay as a group, and it was mostly company oriented because the ballparks weren't open yet as far as games. So you might have your company and 10 employees get an hour out on the field. I think it's like 45 minutes or an hour, and you'd. I mean, let's face it, that's like $5,000.
Yeah, no doubt.
But they would have it going all day long, and so maybe they would have 10 groups, $50,000.
Yeah, that's a good day.
That was a good day, and so
especially when the world shut down.
Yeah, our company took part in it a few times. It was awesome.
It was so much fun. I don't think I'd ever experienced anything quite like that before. Just being out there taking BP on a pro field.
It was cool, just fielding balls.
Yeah.
Like fly balls. I'm like, oh, here I'm just standing out in center field catching fly balls.
Absolutely. And we had a couple folks that could hit them pretty well. You and Fennerin.
Yeah, Fennerin can swing it a bit.
Yeah, that dude, because he always goes down and plays in the Braves fantasy camps.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have enough name recognition to go down there.
Nor do I. I've always
wanted to do that. They got Domino and him that go every year.
I've always wanted to do that since I was a child, and I would see it advertised on TBS when I was watching the Braves, and they were in West Palm Beach, Florida, headed down for spring training, and they're like, before spring training, it's Braves Fantasy Camp.
You need to spend about $40, add about 50,000 followers on X, because that's what it'll cost you, and at that point, you'll have enough recognition where they'll then invite you.
Well, then look, where do I buy those?
Well, I don't want to tell you everything.
Right. I've always been.
I've never done that, but when I see, because other people that get caught doing that, and I
there's
swear,
plenty of people that do.
There's plenty of people that do because there's a ton of people where I'll be like, I've never heard of them,
and they have 100,000 or
150,000 followers, and they're not anywhere of real substance.
No.
Like no,
there's not a chance. No, that's
there's
exactly
a lot of bots there.
I've never. I wouldn't trust putting my credit card in to pay for that. You know what I mean? It just seems so underhanded and dirty. Who's going to go to some absurd website and use your credit card?
I'm just going to say this without a whole lot of detail. There is a particular service that requires you to have a certain number of subscribers so that you can, let's say, stream volleyball matches live.
Oh, yes. Right. I remember you telling me about this.
So in this case, I did spend like the $3 to get the number of subscribers I needed so that I could stream live so that the grandparents could watch all the matches.
That's a benefit. I'm with you. I understand why you do that.
But I wasn't going to spend like $80 to get like 10,000 subscribers because I don't need that.
No, I wouldn't even know where to go. Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin to go. And then again, I would be so nervous about putting my credit card number out there. I guess when you think about how every password you have has already been leaked.
Oh, yeah.
And
the Chinese have a whole
thing. Your Social Security number's already out there. I don't even know if it matters, but there's that little bit of me that would like to try to do it the right way and not just hand over my credit card account. But because my mama calls me the other day.
Mama?
No, it was the worst. She says,
Tug, listen to me, Tug.
Yeah, she's not a smoker.
They've gotten to my accounts again, Tug.
Yeah. No, but somebody called her, and I'm sure it's somebody working from home, and they have it programmed so it says Allstate. She happens to have Allstate. And so they're like, hey, we're going to pitch you on these other services. Just need your credit card number. And I was like, surely you didn't give them. Oh, yeah. Well, it said Allstate. That's who I'm with. I was like, Mama, no. They could make the caller ID say anything they want. Don't do that. And so we've been fighting that battle for a little bit now.
I've had to actually coach my wife through a couple of these. There's been a couple of them where it's gotten down to that point, and now she's like, wait a minute. I was like, really? They actually got you to the point where you were thinking about paying them?
Yes. And it usually starts with, hey, use Zelle, or use something that you can't get your money back from.
Untraceable app.
Yeah, but they always want to use that. So, I tried to save Mama from that a little bit. I don't know if it we're like I said, we're still working through it a little bit. Donald Trump came out screaming with the vaccine terrorists and a post about them, Los, that was pretty impressive.
I was so surprised about this. The listing is they're all poison, every single one. And here's the big takeaway I have from all this. So Donald Trump is able, and he typically does, claims that Operation Warp Speed, what a great accomplishment. Some say it's the most amazing accomplishment. But he would always be booed on the campaign trail over it. And I think it took him a while to kind of follow up and be like, man, people really did not like how this all played out. Like long term, people did not like this. And then what's going on now, you have a guy who has fully backed RFK Jr. in the way that he has. And so he decided to post this. Right now, RFK Jr. is the poster child for all vaccines are terrible. And he's not saying that.
No, he's never said that.
They're saying is we've got some things that are unnecessary out here, and we should be giving the consumer informed consent. What's the risk reward of this? And that if you cannot draw up a safety profile with a large enough amount of risk reward, then it shouldn't be on the market. Or at the very least, it shouldn't be mandated. You shouldn't have it where you got to take this or else you can't work in society.
Be in the military, whatever.
Right. That should not be the way it is. That seems fair. If you haven't done enough research on this, why are you making me have to take it? Well, it's just the way we do it. That's not good enough.
We're done with all that. But let me tell you, I don't think that will ever happen again.
No, and Donald Trump is now leaning into this, and I think that's the important part. You have a very big backlash right now against big pharma and the insurance industry. And you notice they haven't said anything about the insurance industry.
That's been quiet.
It's all big pharma right now. It's all about lowering your prescription drug prices. Like this other part's going to be on the horizon. Like insurance, you're going to get yours. Like that's coming. Seriously. But I'm glad he's leaning into this now because I believe a large amount of society is saying, I want to know what you're putting in me. If you're telling me I have to do this, then you better give me the risk reward to doing so.
Or even if you just say, I recommend this, at least tell me the information. Why you recommend it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too much to ask, man.
No.
That's and I love the fact that Trump's post said they're all poison.
I mean,
it's genius.
You're planning on doing an IV bag, and you've already read about every little thing that's already in there. Imagine that when you go to your doctor's office and you say, well, what's in that you're recommending? Like, I can't tell you. I don't know. Or I don't know. Or they didn't disclose that here in the white paper. It's blank. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do for myself later today. You're telling me that when it comes to a medical issue, I can't know what's in there?
Yeah, it's just wrong.
I can't research?
Completely wrong. The gangs in Chicago versus the National Guard. I got the Guard. I don't know about y'all.
For the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
I've taken absolute delight in telling you about the rise of wokeism in schools across the country. It was over a year ago that I told you about the elite Westminster School in Atlanta. Around Christmas time, they were going to perform Handel's The Messiah. Some music teacher decided that a little woke instruction or indoctrination was necessary to go along with this show, so he informed everybody that they should listen to the Messiah, knowing that Handel, way back then, actually invested in a company that made slave ships. Oh, the humanity. Now wokeism has spread to math. Math instruction in state schools. California, of course, has now adopted a new math curriculum to make sure that math is culturally relevant for all students. You know, equity. Now, how do you do this? Okay, here's an example of woke math education. You tell the students that a garden has been planted 12 yards by 10 yards. They're supposed to tell you how many square yards the garden is, but that's not all. They also, in solving the problem, have to discuss where the garden came from. Is it on stolen land? What is it growing? Is the food going to be used to help feed the poor and the disadvantaged? Who owns the garden? Is it privately owned or owned by the community? If it is stolen land, tell us about the Native Americans that used to live there. This, in many state schools, is the new mathematics education. Yet you send your kids there, right? Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Don't let your afternoon drive get bogged down with traffic and weather breaks. Just enjoy the Kimmer Show from 3 to 6 p.m.
A lot of these places don't even report a lot of crimes anymore to the FBI or anyone else. They just don't report it, like California.
And New York City. Remember, the scandal was New York City and Chicago were among the two of the biggest cities who did not report all the crimes, so it made it look like the murder rates were down in major big Democrat-run cities, and it was all a lie.
Don't worry, it's only the Kimmer on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Ryan Ruth is back in federal court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, where he's not just the defendant, but also his own lawyer in the case of the second Trump assassination attempt last year. It's the second day of jury selection.
Federal Judge Eileen Cannon made it clear he can't make any sudden movements or roam around the courtroom during questioning.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol outside the court in Fort Pierce, Florida. She reports on day one.
21 jurors had been dismissed. Another 120 potential jurors returned to the court today. Ruth objected to just one removal, which was a young woman who wrote that she believes felons should have their voting rights restored. Ruth himself is a convicted felon from a 2002 weapons case.
Weapons charges are among those Ruth faces, found with a rifle near the Trump golf course where the president was playing last September. There's a new illegal immigration crackdown in Illinois, which Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker opposes, calling it President Trump's war on America's third largest city. Fox's Griff Jenkins is in Chicago.
We are riding along again today with ICE. It is, of course, ICE-led, but you have multiple federal law enforcement partners, ATF, DEA, the Marshals, all in cooperation of the search to go after violent criminal illegal aliens.
ICE agents can resume a big illegal immigration crackdown at job sites and other locations in Southern California after the Supreme Court undid a judge's order that ruled those raids were unconstitutional. A murder case in Charlotte, North Carolina is under federal investigation, captured on video showing a man on a train stabbing a woman sitting in front of him unprovoked. Fox's Alexandria Hoff reports from the White House the suspect had 14 prior arrests and mental health issues.
His own mother had pled to have him behind bars just due to his ongoing troubles, his issues, and the threats that he had made. DeCarlos Brown Jr. had been in and out of courts and jails for a decade when police say he murdered 23-year-old Irina Zertuska. She was killed exactly 3 years since she moved to the U.S. from Ukraine to escape the war.
America's listening to Fox News.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Tired of all the negative media manipulation? Wake up feeling right with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Yeah, Tug and Los until 10.
Tug and Los until 10, right here on the Morning Extra, Extra 106.3. It's Lucifer and Tugalicious. Bringing you the evil stuff.
That's frightening.
As we have ACDC.
That actually sounds very frightening.
Well, I was trying to go to like our FM names for when we're doing hardcore rock.
Yeah, right. Lucifer. There's a
Captain Tugglesworth.
Isn't there a band called something like it's I'm not even sure if I can say it, so I won't. But they played over at the Roxy the other day, and I remember seeing the name, and I was like, oh, well, that sounds gross and evil at the very same time. So I'm not sure I can say it. But anyway, it was along those same lines.
Are we still doing that where you have to pretend to be satanic in order to get some of the kids in the door?
I guess. Some of them. I guess some of them do. I don't know.
Now, I give them credit. 9 Inch Nails had like a run.
Sure they did.
And it was, when we were younger, it was portrayed as like, ooh, like this is some out there music.
Yeah,
no,
idiot.
Trent Reznor was just this artistic genius. And if you know the story, his entire record label for a long time was like, none of this will ever sell.
Yeah.
None of this will sell.
And then it did.
And then as soon as he went over to another record label and they're like, no, we're pushing this. This is some big stuff. And it blew up. But it was always just kind of like cutting edge.
Dark, though. Very
dark. Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, some techno-based stuff, but also with some, it was just really cool sound to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. But the biggest of that really worked in the 80s when, it was like Motley Crue and Ozzy and AC/DC, and there was always the...
Well, you know what your mom said about Kiss.
Oh, man, yes, absolutely right.
They're the
Knights of Satan's Stand or in Satan's Service. I've heard it, saw it. I remember seeing an interview with AC/DC when they were asked, does that stand for... After Christ, Devil's Child? And they were like, no, it came from the back of my sister's sewing machine.
Wasn't it Twisted Sister? Who was it that was asked about when you played their music backwards? It was like, get the gun.
Well, there was a lot. There was a bunch of the Beatles, Zepp. There was, a ton of them that were.
That was a different time.
Yeah.
And then Marilyn Manson actually was trying to sell you on like,
oh my gosh.
Like, no.
That dude's out in left field with a football bat. I don't know what's going on with that guy. He turned out to be nuts. He's
out there.
He's genuinely more crazy than everybody
And
else.
then you had Tenacious D, which we've had some issues there. But their entire joke was that they're a comedy band who also was kind of Satanist.
See, I didn't even know that part.
That they were constantly battling between good and evil and Satan. Like one of their stories of the song Tribute is how they run into a demon. They have to fight them in the middle of the road.
Okay. See, I had no idea about that part. I never really listened to them, so I don't know enough about them.
It was genius for its time.
Yeah. And then now they're not together because
of comments made after Trump was shot in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. It was basically like, I wish you would have got him, right? Or something like that.
It was a joke about, and Jack Black has way too many irons in the fire to basically play that game with Kevin anymore.
Yes, because he's like a bona fide star.
He's a bona fide star. He's doing kids' movies.
Yeah.
If it's not the Kung Fu Pandas. By the way.
Which he probably made more than he's made on anything else.
The Jumanji films are hilarious.
Yeah, I've not seen the remakes. I remember seeing the original a long time ago. A friend of mine, we had this kid we went to school with, and he was a relatively awkward kid, and my buddy's fan always called him Jumanji. I could never figure out why. And then later on, it all kind of made sense. It was so strange and everything, because those movies are
the newer ones, the two, fun.
Yeah.
Fun the whole time. But the joke of JB and KB was that they're two struggling artists who firmly believe they're going to bust out big and rock, and all they do is play open mic nights, and all of their music basically becomes like these music videos where they're fantasizing about being big time stars, and yet they go back to their regular apartment and everything else. So that's like the whole comedy of Tenacious D.
Love it.
That they're almost going to be there. They're almost ready to break through.
I've seen many people, and it would not be comedy, really thinking that they're about to break through. They're about to be the next big thing, and then it doesn't turn out. but it wasn't quite as funny because because they've invested everything. They invest every bit of their time and their talent in this pursuit, and it never just comes to fruition.
I wonder how good that is if you're. As I think about this all the time when we're in Nashville, there are plenty of working artists who play rooms all the time,
make a decent living,
with that. And is that good enough? Is that fine enough? Where
is it light the fire?
Yeah, where maybe you are a working artist for 20 or 30 years, and you pay all your bills and you put some money away, and it's a pretty cool life that you play music for a living. Like, is that enough?
I think the fame part is the worst part of being an artist, and you see it over and over again because everything is so under the microscope, and you can't go to Walmart and you can't live like a normal human being. I've always thought being a writer, because that's where a lot of money is. A lot of money. Getting those that mailbox money, that's the way to live, because you do have the fame of your industry. They all know who you are. Now, people outside the industry probably don't, but you're making, incredible money, and you don't have to sacrifice by being the artist.
I've always seen the video when she was like 15 years old where Taylor Swift was asked about that, and she was like, I'm always going to write. She's like, at the very worst, like, I might not perform, but I'm always going to write. And I thought, well, that was pretty smart, that if you don't hit it big, you want to be able to write so that you are still within the industry. Because if you're a good writer and you write hits, everybody still wants to work with you.
Absolutely right. And she is that. She's a good writer and writes hits for everybody that has ever recorded her stuff. And there was my wife's watching that TV show, The Summer I Became Pretty, I think is the name of it.
Yes.
And I've caught, bits and pieces of it. It's not my thing, but whatever. She enjoys it.
The book is in my house.
Yes, I'm sure. Is it getting passed around? The girls are all reading it?
The girls have all, long before there was a movie, they all knew it.
And but Taylor Swift songs keep popping up in there, and they're all great. Every time I hear Taylor stuff, I'm like, that's a hit right there. and it always is. Always somebody finds a place for it.
So let's say that you don't end up ever being the big country artist, yet I can go play a show. I've got 8 o'clock at these honky tonks 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm making pretty good money. Because I don't know, again, you're packing a house like that.
Depends. Dude, you can, if you're at the bottom of the bill, you're making, maybe $50 to play.
Yeah.
And then if you'll move the needle, then you can make $1,000 a night.
Yeah, I would think if you can get out of it on play, let's say you play 3 or 4 shows a night, or 3 or 4 shows a week, and you make $1,000 at each one. I'm like, feeling pretty good about what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And being in such a tourist town, it's not like you're having to change things up quite a bit.
No,
it's like just the next wave of people.
Yeah,
next wave of people.
And that's where a lot of those guys perfect their stagecraft, and perfect the job that they're able to do.
That's what I'm going to do in the future.
Be a performer.
Once this show gets blown out, you and I, we're just going to go to a honky tonk, and we're going to start our own show there.
I love it. That'd be great.
Hey, play Friends in Low Places.
Okay, we will, sir. And here's our bucket.
Yeah, that's right.
Neon Moon.
$20. We will take any request.
That's exactly right. And we know them all. So much fun. Dude, it would be. That'd be so much fun. I think that would be enough, at least for me, to scratch the itch. If I ever wanted to be that. But I don't know that I...
Play 7 Spanish Angels!
That's right. I love that song. It's one of my favorites of all time. Willie and Ray Charles.
My wife doesn't. My dad, when I play it, he's like, it just melts him. He loves it so
my
much.
gosh, how can you not, dude?
Because my wife's not human.
The story is so beautiful.
It's a great song.
Oh my gosh, the story.
Can't live without my man.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, I pick up an empty gun knowing they're going to shoot me.
They're going to shoot me down.
Join my love in heaven.
That's right.
Dude, if that ain't a country song, I don't know what is. I don't know what is if that ain't a country song. We've been laughing.
And by the way, your backup plan song now plays in my house.
Dude, how can it not?
On the regular. And it is growing amongst the volleyball girls.
How can it not?
I love that song.
Dude, it's so good.
It's a cool song.
Dude, the coolest story, get this. I was able to spend some time with Bailey Zimmerman, it's Bailey and Luke on that.
Is he Shake It For Me Girl?
No, that'd be Luke Bryan.
Oh, dang it.
You get your Luke's mixed up. But Bailey Zimmerman literally showed me the text where he texts Luke Bryan or Luke Combs and says, hey, would you be interested in doing this song? I think this would work. He didn't hear from Luke Combs for a month and 2 days. He was like, I don't know what to do. Do I text him back? Do I just let it go? It was like January 20th is when he sends the text, and then in like February, end of February, the text comes in. It's like, yeah, man, I'd love to do that.
Finishes the bender and he's ready to work again.
That's it. It was just, he just has. I mean, he's such a big artist. Luke Combs is blowing up. He was like, I just didn't know what to do. He was like, it was so awkward because I didn't know Luke Combs that well to send him that text, late at night, and then not get anything back and not know how to proceed forward. Do I ask somebody else to do it?
And you know how it's gotten big, in part because I recognized it pretty quickly. It's on a Verizon ad already.
Oh, yeah.
The one with Billy Bob Thornton?
Yep.
And
in the background.
And it's being used on, as you were pointing out, College Game Day, as far as ESPN, ABC's coverage.
Yep.
That's one of the songs that you're using as an intro.
And if you read the lyrics, they're so good.
Such a great song.
Because it's about grind. It's about being knocked down and told no and getting back up.
It's like, how do you then persevere off of this? And again, it's great for sports.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't be better for sports, but if you're into it, then you're into it.
Yeah, dude, it's absolutely great song. So well written, and now, this is the biggest song of the year.
Man, look at this. This 9 o'clock hour is off to a rip-roaring start here.
I know, right? We were just watching videos of people in Chicago screaming at the mayor, screaming at the governor, and acting like, no, there's no crime here. And these people are like, you're full of it, and we know it.
Their standard's different than the mayor's standard and the governor's standard. Their standard is, we're not going to have 800 people killed. That was the height of what went wrong there in 2020, 2021. They also shouldn't have 500 people killed, and that's what's happening. And the shootings haven't dropped off. So they can always tell them, like, hey, our crime's under control.
Of course it
is. And the residents
are
upset. It's as they're being told, as they keep saying, the sky's blue, the officials are like, no, it's red, y'all. It's totally red. Are you serious? How are we not looking at the same sky here?
Yeah,
what do you mean we got a problem? Now, I think this is kind of a powder keg because it feels like because of the telegraphing of the move. And I get why Trump did it. He wants to put pressure on these communities to solve the problems on their own. It almost feels like for the Democrat Party that doesn't have the House, the Senate, obviously keeps being beaten at the Supreme Court and doesn't have the presidency, their new tactics are guerrilla in nature. How can we cause problems on the ground in different places? And so I want you to listen to this person. They were portrayed as a gang member. Now, they got upset about that in a subsequent video that got pointed out. But I want you to listen to this person talk about stay out of Chicago if you're the National Guard.
Trump, do not send the National Guard to Chicago, gang. Do not, I repeat, do not do it. Do y'all know that it's more bad people than good people, bro? There are over 100,000 gangs in Chicago by the city by itself, gang.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pointing out, you don't know how bad it is here.
Yeah.
And that there will be, now, again, the person does a subsequent video. He's like, I'm not a gang member.
I'm just telling you the
this is
bloodshed.
bad.
But
it's almost threatening in the way that it came across. We're going to get some National Guardsmen hurt if you come out here.
It did come off that way. And then there was another woman who calls out the gangbangers, which was really funny because she was like, hang on, y'all are going to take on the National Guard.
So that was one of the other subsequent tweets that I saw yesterday. Now, this was done by a military operator. And the line that he used I thought was totally genius. He's like, you're talking about using terror on people?
Yeah.
He's like, our business was terror. It's like our job was to terrorize the enemy overseas.
Yeah.
It's like gang members can act like you've got the idea of how to do it. It's like you don't know how to do it professionally.
No, yeah, we've done it. We've been doing it. And then she laughs in their face. This is the funniest. Listen to this.
So what I'm noticing on the internet right now is there's a lot of there's black men talking about they ready for the National Guard to come in. They got switches. They got over 100,000 gangs. Chicago is ready. And I'm like, you think your black ass is ready for the U.S. Armed Forces and the National Guard? Are you for real? Your 2-block range is not going to go against night vision goggles and tanks and drones. These men are trained to shoot a fly's wings from 800 yards away. Do you know what you're asking for? Do you understand?
That's so great. She continues on. She's so funny.
It is funny because it's empowering to her.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get this community cleaned up.
Yeah.
And you're, like, threatening, like, oh, man, what happened between these gangs? It's like, you don't know what you're going up against. These are trained shooters.
That's right. What she says, these guys can shoot the wings off a fly from 800 yards.
Their business every day is to get up, work out, follow orders, and then shoot things.
Trained to blow things up, trained to destroy the enemy, trained to be a surprise when you don't expect. The whole point of the surprise, just to show up when you have no idea.
So here was the line from the guy that I saw yesterday. He's referring to these guys as children. He's like, these boys think they understand violence, but they only know violence without a proportional response. Basically, hey, I shot somebody, nothing happens.
And right, and these people are scared to do anything in return.
He said, I could call about 20 dudes together that would make them terrified to sleep at night. Those that use terror as a tool never can compete with those that know it as a profession.
Yeah, dude, that's next level. And that's what the military can do and will do given the opportunity. And,
But I think it's a powder keg. Like, I do worry about what happens if this thing kicks off where somebody does do something stupid when it comes to a federal official, ICE or otherwise.
You talking about? So you think like one of these gangbangers like shoots a soldier? Yeah. No, I can see that. But unfortunately, with everything that's going on in America, it doesn't matter if it's activist judges. It doesn't matter if it's gangbangers in the street. We have so many hard decisions we have to make. None of these decisions are easy, and none of the outcomes are going to be clean to get where we need to go.
I just believe that Donald Trump is on such a winning streak, DC and otherwise, where things have been going, that the left is going to have a situation where they're going to be hoping for, please, one of y'all pop off at somebody to cause an incident in an American city.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Like, that's their hope.
Or even encourage it.
Because they can't beat him at the ballot box.
Yeah.
They can't beat him when it comes to any of their silly stories.
They tried to kill him. That didn't work.
Nothing working. So what's next?
I know. You're right about that. You're absolutely right. They're waiting for something. Just give us something to talk about because we have nothing. The women of Gen Z is a cause for concern, especially if you're opposed to socialism. Next and Extra.
Extra 106.3 is Atlanta's home for NASCAR, and we have live races every weekend from across the country. Check out extra1063.com for the full schedule and join us this weekend for live NASCAR action.
Have you been looking at the house like, man, we need to do some things to spruce up? It's not spring cleaning necessarily, but it's just you're outside. Things are changing up, and you want to make sure that the house looks as beautiful as it possibly can. Call Southern Exteriors at 877-9-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. They can do anything to the outside of your house that needs to be done to spruce it up, to make it look beautiful again. Because there's a reason you bought your house. You loved it at one time. Maybe you still do, but it needs to be... there are some changes that need to be made. New windows, new doors, new siding, new roofing, new gutters, new back deck. Maybe get it all screened in, have a nice place to entertain. Southern Exteriors can do that for you. All you got to do is reach out. 877-9-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. When you do, you can get 0% financing for 12 months, or you can get 10% off any job, no matter what the job is or how big the job is. Call them today. Make your house the envy of the neighborhood.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Of all the radio ads I've ever done, I only advertised one thing that I think saved my life. My CPAP machine, sleep apnea. And I found the best CPAP dealer out there ever, Roddy at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. CPAPsetc.com. Everything you need, all the supplies, shipped anywhere at a price that often beats insurance. CPAPsetc.com. Go take a peek now.
Hey, it's Los here to tell you about a new, stress-free, and completely transparent way to purchase your next pre-owned car, truck, or SUV. It's with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, traditionally, I've been a payment buyer. How do you work with that type of buyer?
I have people that come in all the time and they want to spend $20,000. Okay, if their payments are $400 on $20,000, they don't realize without the doc fees, without all this other stuff, we can put them in a 22 or 23 model car and we can spend a little bit more money and have the same payment. So if you're a payment buyer, don't come in here just saying, I want to spend $20,000, because we can sit there and help you and we can put you in a newer car with lesser miles at a payment you need.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Tuesday, September 9th. A suspected high-ranking cartel member was detained in Atlanta after being extradited from Mexico to face federal charges. Roberto Lopez, also known as Shrek, is an alleged lieutenant in the Sinaloa cartel and was hiding out in Mexico for the past 10 years. He's accused of smuggling tons of cocaine and hundreds of guns across the border to Atlanta and Memphis. He faces life in prison. Cobb County police have identified a victim in a cold case dating back to 1984. Her body remained unidentified for decades after it was found near the Chattahoochee River. Recent advanced DNA testing led the police to identify the victim as Jane Miller of Mableton. She would have been 61 years old. The case is still under active investigation. And police are searching for teens in East Cobb after a fight at Waffle House broke out Saturday night. Staff said the teens were asked to leave several times, and a video of the fight that went viral on social media showed the teens jumping over the counter and fighting employees at the location on Sandy Springs Road just after 2 a.m. Detectives are working to identify all involved. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. 8779 southernexteriors.co. CO.
I almost kind of caused an issue with your live read.
Why is that?
Because I thought you called on a character and I was going to jump in.
Oh, well, look, anytime you want to jump in, you're always welcome. You know that.
Because you said spruce it up. And I thought you were calling for me, Bruce.
No, Bruce.
No. You want to Bruce it up?
Yeah, right.
And then I thought, man, now it'll really mess up your whole commercial.
Yeah.
So I don't need to bring out Bruce.
Yeah, but next time.
It sounded like you called him, but you said spruce.
Yes, right. And then into the air. And then Bruce appears. It's like a genie bottle.
You got no shirt on.
Yeah, right.
Just want to see where the party's at.
Where does Bruce come from? Or spruce?
Where does he not?
Yeah. But usually there's some connection with something that you've done before or you've seen before.
You just said spruce, and I thought, what about when Bruce shows up?
I love that. Creativity that just flows naturally. And comes from anywhere.
Doesn't need to, I don't know where this how do you explain the muse?
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't you have those moments where you can't really explain where that came from? It was just a good idea.
Yes, absolutely.
You get a lot of flexibility when you do your country radio show where, you'll read something, you'll say, okay, that gave me an idea. But when you execute it and you're like, hey, I really like that, you don't.
Yeah, I have no idea.
You take all the credit, or you say, okay, it just kind of came from somewhere.
Absolutely, yeah. It just popped up. It just happened. And the best stuff usually does, right? Because it usually just happens out of nowhere.
That's why I love the shower.
Yep.
And when I take the dog outside, for some reason, those are the two places that are quiet and just ideas pop up.
Yeah.
I just go, oh, hey, maybe try that.
Yeah, so many people say that, or the bathroom. The ideas come from the bathroom.
So we had the scenario where I tried to use, at the time, it was let's use AI Neil Bortz to ask himself questions.
Yeah, I remember. I thought that was going to be.
But then what it turned into was let's create AI that just tells jokes.
Yeah.
So it's not having to, just tells jokes. And so by the time that we were using them on Neil,
he loved, which he absolutely loved. If you ever
the petting zoo joke, was the one that got him.
Yeah, are those handy? Do you have those?
If you still have the
we're efforting.
AI Neil petting zoo, I'd have to even see if I've got somewhere in an email.
Yeah,
but that was the joke that made Neil Bortz crack up. He was in studio.
Yep.
And we were thinking about interviewing him with AI, and then it just turned into, instead, let's just have...
Like his Bortz reports.
His AI tell him jokes.
Yes, and
it
Neil
worked for him. He laughed at it.
That's the beauty of Neil. He's so flexible.
And that was a bathroom-oriented idea. That was a shower of going, I can't get these questions to work. Like, none of this works.
Yeah. Then the best ideas.
What about if we made it into jokes?
Yes, and then it worked perfectly. And Neil's always such a good sport. And doesn't get too bent out of shape if you poke fun at him. Not everybody's like that.
Not everybody.
Would you guys on this morning show like to hear a joke from AI Bortz?
Sure.
Why did the sperm cross the road? Because I put the wrong socks on this morning.
Yuck. Yuck.
Yeah,
there were a bunch of them. And then we brought him, Los brought him underwear.
Then he loved. And then the AI would laugh.
And then the AI chuckle at the end. So good.
It is hilarious.
It is always fun when Neil is part of the show and jumps into the conversation. You got another one?
Would you guys on this morning show like to hear a joke from AI Bortz? What do you get when you cross human DNA with goat DNA? You get kicked out of the petting zoo.
Yeah. And all of them are so...
And all of them are like that.
Yeah, and all of them are so... they're just... Like, I could totally see Neil or hear Neil saying those
So
things.
I'm glad that's the one that cracked him up and it worked out well. So there's the muse, man. I can't explain where that comes from. Just it's an idea.
Laughing hysterically.
Oh, awesome.
Dude, there's nothing better and awkward and with those weird high tones.
7:25 this morning is when Neil is with us. So you can go back on the app, check out our visit. And as we got into 0 point energy and the pyramids and
I was surprised that Neil jumped right in with that too.
Love it.
Yeah, he's talking about the asteroids.
Oh, yeah. He's like, we're going to have to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah.
It circles around the sun.
Yeah. Neil's like, when I bring it up, the queen tells me to shut up and move along.
She's like, he's finally had it.
Yeah.
It's like he's finally lost his mind.
That's exactly right. Gen Z, I've had so much hope in Gen Z because of their common sense approach to life. And they understand that, people are not paying off your student debt because they didn't accrue it. You're responsible for yourself. We had a couple interns, Gen Z interns in here, and they completely made sense with the questions we asked. Everything that they said, Los, was from a common sense perspective. But Gen Z women have basically embraced a form of government that will never work in America, and it's being dangled.
Yeah, and I think this is where we talk about the difference in a lot of this stuff, because when we had our Gen Z members in here, just as you said, there were questions that we thought we were going to get the sort of answers to, like, well, what if somebody pays for your education? And I thought it was really encouraging when it was Meadow, who is a sophomore over at Florida State. She's like, somebody's paying for it. She's like, if not my family, if you're telling me it's free, somebody's paying for it. I was like, that's highly encouraging to hear from like a 19, 20-year-old female, how grounded she is.
Yeah, some good upbringing.
Yeah, like she's very grounded. So this was a study that ended up being done by the NBC News Desk. And it was a poll of Gen Z adults, 18 to 29. And it really highlights how differently they think and why I highly suggest, and I think your son has done this in the smart way. He went and got involved with an athlete. It's like, here's a woman who she's into what I'm into. We're trying to compete at the collegiate level, and here's what we're about. And meritocracy does matter, right? That's what he went and did. I would think that I'm trying to raise two daughters that will look at things the same way. But when asked by the NBC News Desk, first off, men who voted for Trump, having children was their top priority, 34%. Their least amount of priority, just 9%, was able to retire early. I want to stop working. And having emotional stability, 9%. They don't look at that as being something that they're lacking. Now, how about women who voted for Harris?
Oh, this is going to get sideways.
Having children, dead last, 6%.
Of course.
Fulfillment job, 51%, their top. Next, having money to do things, 46%. Whereas when it came to having money to do what I want for men who voted for Trump, was just 28%. So the methodologies are out of whack. If you think you can be a young machismo, heterosexual male, and that you're just going to meet the right girl, and she might be liberal, and it's going to work mentally, just know her programming is not your programming. It has not gone that way. Well, not now.
It almost seems like they've been deprogrammed
from motherhood.
From brotherhood, exactly. That's exactly right. Like as if motherhood is a bad thing.
It's a hindrance.
It's a hindrance to being happy in life. And you and I both know with children, they're the greatest blessing that you'll ever get.
The most awesome adventure I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah, nothing compares.
The excitement that I derive from it, I can't explain unless you're a parent. And as parents, the disappointments are on a different level as the excitement is on a different level. And I think over the course of my time on this planet, it's about being affected emotionally.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't have anything that affects you emotionally in that way, then what are you really experiencing?
I can't imagine that money would be the driving factor on anything for me. I'm not saying money's not important, because of course it is. You have to have money to live, and I get it all. But just to throw everything away to make sure I have money to go out and do things. What is it? What was it?
Okay. Having money to do things what you want.
Yeah.
Men who voted for Trump, 28%. Women who voted for Harris, 46%.
Yeah, almost half of women have been indoctrinated, probably in college, to say going out and hitting the bars and having a good time, which is fun. Sure. I've done it. You've done it. We've all done it. You want to be doing that when you're 45?
No.
You want to be doing that when you're 55?
No.
Of course not.
Men who voted for Trump, being married, 29%. Women who voted for Harris, 6%.
6%.
You know, the only place that men who voted for Trump, 18 to 29, and women who voted for Harris, 18 to 29, are aligned?
Where's that?
Home ownership. That's the only place where they are aligned. Owning a home, women, 20%. Owning a home for men, 26%. They both look at it as, it's really hard to do it, so I'm not going to prioritize it beyond kind of my middle range.
Dude, how sad is that the American dream of home ownership and having a family has been discredited so much in academia and in politics and in mainstream media, that the basic tenets of a happy life, which we know is get married, stay married, and get a job and work hard. More people are happy when they use that formula than any of the others. And we've taught kids negatively to think of those things negatively.
I know it's anecdotal, but it is the youngest person that's in the family that was like of marrying age. My wife's cousin, who got married, I think it's now been like 3 years ago. And her and her husband bought a home. And they bought a home at like right around, like, I think it was like 32 or 33. Well, that's 10 years behind you and I, Tug.
Yeah.
The difference in where it was.
Yeah, 23.
And so, like, I was doing it like 23, 24 years old.
Yeah,
I was like 24 years old. And so they're having to go 10 years later. Well, that also changes the math on everything.
Oh, sure it does. Yeah. But
when's the kid, when's the family, when's the establishment, everything changes.
But it almost seems like that should still be the goal. Like it doesn't even seem like that it's the goal anymore because they don't feel like it's accomplishable.
But it's the only area where these women who voted for Harris and men who voted for Trump are aligned. When it comes to the priority on family, priority on marriage, priority on mental health, they are polar opposites. And so I hate to tell you, hey, go find a girl who considered voting for Trump, or here's what it is.
But you might need to.
But you might be a lot more happy, and you're not going to have to change her, because the problem is, and I firmly believe this, it's easier to describe my wife as a blue dog Democrat. She is. And largely, she runs the house in that way. We both do. It's like, we don't spend extravagantly.
Yeah, sure.
Like, do we have some cool stuff? Yeah, but that was because put money aside, here's what we did.
Yeah, but you've worked really hard to do that.
That's how that goes. But at no point would I ever say, hey, look, she's looking to change the sex of our children. Like, that's the way out there that they're all painted as, and that's not the case. But for those that are like that, there is no way as a conservative man you're changing her.
Absolutely not.
She's going to change you.
Or you're going to get away from her.
Yeah.
That's good. Which is probably
like she's going to turn you into somebody where you're like she'll tell you all about your toxic masculinity. You want to go fishing again? It's you and your toxic masculinity.
Right.
What do you mean you want to play golf? You and your toxic masculinity. And you will start being compliant because 2 reasons. You want to get laid. The second one is you just don't want to deal with it. As we get older, we take the path of least resistance.
What a horrible life, though.
Yes.
Go to church. Find yourself a good girl at church.
You know what? Go find an athlete.
Yeah.
She's into the meritocracy.
Yeah, absolutely. She understands.
She likes winning and losing.
And I would imagine, those beta men that are out there, because we always see with lefty loony women, they're always like, why am I so drawn to the guy that works out, or the MAGA man?
Because you're hardwired for it, baby girl.
Exactly right. But they always fight against it.
It's proliferation of the species. You look at pencil neck over here. And you're going, all right, so you can make coffee.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to defend the home.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're going to defend the family.
As you're all upset over Dave and his muscles.
Yeah.
Like, man, why am I so attracted to Dave? Is a misogynist.
I hate Dave, but man, is he good looking.
He works out all the time.
Yeah, stupid Dave.
He wears sunglasses all the time.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hour, brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. Remember, we're really all Joe Rogan these days. Next on Extra.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Hey, Atlanta, let's talk about True Prep. First off, 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta. Now, True Prep, when it comes right down to it, True Prep will ask you this question. Are you ready for anything? And if the answer is yes, well then, hey, that's pretty good. Now, I'll tell you, I'm ready for a lot of things. I'm not ready for everything, but that's what True Prep is there for. They're there to help you out with some of those blind spots. Maybe it comes to, hey, if I ever have any kind of situation when I'm out in the woods, well, how will I handle it? Well, they've got plenty of equipment for those needs. What if you're talking about home or personal defense? Trust me, they got a lot of firearms, they got a lot of guns, a lot of ammunition at great prices. They can get you situated there, and they have workshops to help you with those processes. If you're a first-time gun buyer, they can help you with that. But maybe you're like me, and I'm big into food storage. I went through a hurricane about 8 years ago. I saw what happened when people don't have anything to eat and all their cars don't run, can't get food, electricity is down. That's why I prep. That's the reason why I have stuff just in case of some sort of crazy event that requires me and my family to be stuck at home for a while. We're going to be fed. We're going to be okay. That is one of the things that True Prep can help you out as well. Water filtration, all sorts of areas. They have the expertise on how to handle it. What do? Again, go to Cobb Parkway in Marietta, 1000 Cobb Parkway, or go online at trueprep.com. That's TRUprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
Hey Atlanta Braves fans, this is Kelly Kroll asking you to step up to the plate for the men and women who have served our country and protected our freedom. The Warrior Alliance, an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, is helping thousands of veterans to achieve success after military service. Either you or someone you know has served and deserves our support. The best way to say thank you for your service is by helping a veteran round the bases on their journey home. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Los is laughing deviously.
It's really funny. I saw a tweet, and the original poster had the COVID razor throat variant is slicing through the U.S. and it's already in 15 plus states. Are we ready for what's next? And the very first post, it says, I'm ready, or you? And it says, instructions for your new COVID mandates. And it's basically a mandate like it's a pill.
Yep.
And to stick it in your butt.
Oh, like a suppository. Yeah. Oh, yuck. No, thank you. What? So
your mandates. Yeah. Stick them up your.
Yes. Yeah. No, thank you.
I thought that was really funny.
It's so funny. But that's the thing, man. I don't know that the American people are ever going to fall for that one again. I know
enough of them did. Enough of them are still conditioned to.
And do you think that by and large, though, that like the American public
not
is
a large percentage?
Yeah, I was going to say it's like the 20%.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, the 20% will go along.
Yeah, they'll go right along with it, but everybody else will be like, no way. And the conspiracy theories that float around, and now are they really actually conspiracy theories? Because all of us kind of feel like Joe Rogan these days.
You know, it's just good to see everybody having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. There's a lot of people that I don't with anymore. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
Dude, it just goes guns blazing.
So that was Burn the Boats. That's the one he did live in San Antonio. That was early August last year. And the amount, first off, like if you go online, the hatred for that show, because as he's making fun of everything he's making fun of, he would just keep saying, they're just jokes, people.
Yeah, lighten up a little bit.
But the online ratings are like, you're not allowed to say that. I'm like, that's the essence of brilliant comedy.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
like he actually said all these things you're not allowed to say.
He touched the nerve.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. That's why
funny.
Chappelle's so funny. That's why Eddie Murphy was so funny back in the day, and Richard Pryor, and all those comedians.
And conspiracy theories by themselves are already kind of wild and outlandish.
Yeah, sure.
They're a perfect place for comedy.
Right.
I mean, I love going through so many of these and being like, well, okay, that one's pretty. Like, I watched one on crop circles the other day. Yeah. All right, crop circles are legit cool.
Yeah.
And the amount of the people that tried to take credit for creating them, it's like these two people that were like, oh, no, we were out there with the board.
Did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, here's what it. But I mean, that's fun.
Look, I don't know if I never knew the who, what, when, where, and why, but I remember growing up and somebody had, there's some land up in Dalton where I'm from, and there were crazy designs in there. And you're like, well, and that I know of, there was never resolution as to where they came from, ever.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Isn't that fun to make? Isn't that an interesting thing to then base some comedy off of? Some fun?
Let me give you another one. Down Riverbend Road in Dalton, there was we'd been down there fishing, walking back up, dusk, so it's just dark enough you can't see real well. And we're walking out of this big forest up from the river, the Conasauga River, and then through what is, I guess a big cornfield now. And there was just this flame that came from nowhere. And I was like, did you just see? And it was quick. I was like, did you just see that? This is my brother-in-law, Daniel, was in the Air Force. He was like, yeah, I did. Dude, we took off running, scared to death, because we're like, 17, 18 years old,
we were chased
16.
by the headless horseman.
Yeah, or something. I don't know what was going on. But I just remember us being pretty, we were, I don't know if we were scared or laughing or both. Maybe both. Few days later, my friend tells me, because he lives downriver, that's where we went to go fish. He lived down the road. He was like, dude, there was about 5 or 6 Army trucks that just went down the road and went into the area that we were all in the other night. So that's the craziest conspiracy theory that I've ever experienced.
It's not conspiracy theory.
Yeah. So
you saw something,
some crazy event in my life.
I mean, there's crazy events that happen all around the world. I just like that when it came to Burn the Boats and Joe Rogan, he took all of the most insane things that have been part of pop culture over a span of like 2 or 3 years and was like, I believe in all of them.
Yeah, right.
I believe in all of them now.
Just having the leftist meltdown.
I mean, as he jokes around, he's like, Pizzagate's real.
Yeah.
I mean, Pizzagate was obviously crazy out there. But is there such a thing as a pedophile ring in the Democrat Party or elites around the world? I think you should have that discussion based on whether you want to base it off of Epstein Island or you want to base it off what we know that has gone on in terms of the amount of child sex trafficking that's going on in this country. Like, you can have these discussions now, and it might start off as conspiracy theory, but there's enough, there's enough there.
Yeah, that's right. And then you have, West Point that was about to award
Tom Hanks with an award.
A very nice, prestigious award, and then they, out of the blue, cancel it.
Slam the brakes on that one.
Reckon why? I mean,
you're connecting dots there, but that one has been out there for a while.
No, right, of course. It has, and it makes me wonder if the dot wasn't just like, they're like, this is just too much, we don't know. Because he's been very supportive of veterans, to his credit.
If there was ever a point where something like that came up, and you had essentially America's sweetheart
which
get implicated in some... Well, we've already went through the Cosby deal. That's America's dad. And it turns out America's dad was real rapey.
Yes, that's right.
Like a whole lot of rapey, not just like once or twice.
Yeah. Like over a lifetime.
Yeah, like his thing was, here's the drink. This is what's happening.
The Sylvanus Thayer Award from West Point Association of Graduates. Ceremony called off. Could it be some of those conspiracy theories that have finally caught up, or they're just not comfortable enough with the possibility.
With the possibility of something down the road.
Because what happens down the road, and I'm not saying that's what it is. We have to think about it.
I'm fairly certain Temple, I would imagine, rescinded some of the doctorates they gave to Bill Cosby. Like, I would imagine they went ahead and distanced from that a little bit.
Probably makes sense.
I'm gonna ask AI, because AI knows everything. By the way, here's another thing I found out. The amount of high school students that have ChatGPT on their phones
I'm sure it's 90%
at all times.
Yeah, 99%. What am I saying?
I get why you have, like, my daughter a couple of years ago, she wrote like a really, really strong paper. My oldest daughter's a very strong writer. Takes after mom. Very strong writer. And her teacher took her aside and was like, well, why did you use AI on this? She's like, I didn't. And she ended up getting an award like the year before. Like, she had to prove to them, like, no, this is how, like, I've gotten county awards for my writing. And so I can see where it's so frustrating for teachers these days to get something written by a student and you go, oh, I wonder how much AI there is in here. And by the way, it's being used by professionals anyway.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. It's not just kids.
Yeah.
Temple rescinded the degree in 2018.
Thank you.
Yeah.
2018.
Probably smart. And I'm telling you, there's that little bit of me in my gut.
Take it back from you. Remember? You can't take that back.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, if you didn't get the education, right?
Yeah, it could be rescinded anytime we'd like.
By the way, tomorrow there's another UFO hearing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you just brought it up with Angel Face.
We got the committee that's going to be going down here. I thought that was today. Is that tomorrow now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I'll be waiting.
I had just...
I'm waiting for disclosure. We're not going to get there, but that's fine.
But if you inch closer each time, eventually you'll get there, right?
Listen, every single time somebody says that what they've seen or what they've heard, you have an entire industry of people that are there to have misinformation, to tell you things, to lead you down the wrong track. So much of this is an organized effort to have people not know the sort of technology we have.
Yeah, just to protect it.
Yeah.
To protect military. And,
we have serious, crazy technology.
No, that doesn't surprise me at all. And that's... Some of that stuff with the Navy pilots makes me believe that even more.
And we got it all from the Nordics.
Yes, that's right.
But they're digging around those Dalton Woods.
That's for another day. We'll get into that.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, conspiracy theories are fun, man. It gives you a good laugh.
I appreciate y'all dragging me across the finish line today. Love y'all for Los and Jure and Mr. Canada too, our board op today. Y'all come back now, you hear?
You've made it.
Thank Jesus.
And local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
It either is or it isn't.